taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change, I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself and my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent, I'm gonna take shots.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Smite Draft League. It is me, your boy Joywolf. I am joined tonight by the wonderful Zexus.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Zexagon here, ready to do another fantastic tournament that we brought you guys today. It's a Bring Your Own Team Conquest round robin tournament, and excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, we'll be getting into the game shortly, so just getting everything set up. So bear with us as we get that ready for you, and we'll be with you shortly.
Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe. There's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe?
Alrighty, and we are back right into picks and bans here against, we didn't really say the teams, but it's the backpack on your order side. On Chaos, it's Yamoja's Left Eye, I believe is the name.
Yes, that is correct.
So based on these teams already, what do you think so far? We have a few familiar faces on order, but I don't recognize anybody on the side of Yamoja's Left Eye.
Yeah, the order team is definitely a hard-hitting squad. A lot of familiar faces against a team of spry newcomers. So I'm excited to see what Emoji's left thigh will be able to churn out for us.
Definitely. And already into the bans, we're seeing the backpack bang out Daji, Geb, two very strong picks. Lancelot to top it off for their first round. And on the side of Yamoji's left thigh, we've seen an Uller ban as well as a Yu Huang ban as well. So really strong late game mage that you want to take off the table. Kabrakan ban is going to be able to round off their first ban phase. And already into the picks. The first pick on the Guan Yu, most likely headed to that solo lane. A very strong pickup with a lot of late game sustain for the squad. So
With the Fabulous hoops, Guan Yu can be an absolute menace, so not surprised to see that first pick at all. And also rising in popularity after his recent buffs, Susano, another strong pick. Maybe a little surprised to see it this early, but definitely strong.
definitely lots of mobility and a whole ton of damage coming out of that god. Shivalanke being picked right after the Susano, and a very strong late game ADC too, being able to just dump copious amounts of damage, and ending off the phase one picks coming out for the backpack is going to be a Horus, which another strong healer support like warrior, most likely headed into maybe it's a spicy jungle we're seeing here as the Sobek also gets locked in.
I was going to say, Horus having some flexibility, although not too popular, but potentially flexing into the jungle here based off the 3 picks from the backpack. I was going to ask, with the Pele mids and whatnot that we're seeing professionally, are these teams going to be getting weird? And I think they are.
I definitely think we're already headed in that direction. We don't normally see something like a Horus or even a Guan use of jungle, and they can really mix match where they want to go depending on what they favor more. So I think it's going to be a little bit weird on the side of the backpack, but on the side of the Emoji's left thigh, they're kind of doing some normal stuff with that Achilles locked in. Most likely also going to that solo lane and has a decent matchup into Guan Yu, I feel. They're pretty much just going to be trading blows and trading heals that entire time.
Yeah,
And that's really the story of it. Going into phase 2 bans, though, Kepri being taken away by the backpack squad, and Cupid Persephone are being banned out by Emoji's left eye. So
yeah, Cupid has fallen off a little bit, but still a very strong god with his Fields of Love, the big old cripple field. Um, Kepri as well, another uh, sought after pick due to his ability to res with his Scarab's Blessing ultimate.
yep, and
Poseidon and Persephone as well, just team fight menaces, huge Kraken damage from Poseidon and AoE lockdown from the Persephone ultimate. All understandable bans.
definitely, and mainly that whirlpool that Poseidon can drop is just a nuisance to deal with if you're an immobile character that can't really deal with it. So taking that taken off is never a bad thing. But instead of the Kraken secure, we are gonna see a Scylla locked in. So aren't gonna suffer too much secure. That I'm a monster is being ultimate from Scylla, being able to dump a ton of damage. Great for secure and a great team fight ultimate too if you can find those resets.
Yes, but not able to cripple out the Guan, Sobek, and Horus like the Poseidon would have.
Very true. And then ending off the backpacks draft, they're gonna cap it off with a Morgan Le Fay heading to that mid lane, and then a Hui pickup heading to the ADC.
Yeah, Gaba has always liked that Morgan Le Fay. She is quite deadly with that pick, so I'm excited to see if she'll be able to pop off with it.
And then Hui not having too bad of a matchup into that Shivalanka either, so going to be an interesting dual lane to watch out for if you can find any of those ricochets. Is going to be big, and then Ending it all off, we're seeing an RDO going into support. So before we throw it off into the game, which team are you taking based on their draft?
That RDO throws a monkey wrench into a lot of what backpacks seem to be trying to do. They have a lot of mobility in their front line, and that roaming cripple for, I believe it's 6 seconds once she gets her it fully maxed could be absolutely devastating. But Guan Yu and Sobek are both able to just CC immune ultimate under it.
Correct. I like what you're thinking. And with that, we're going to throw it in. We're going right into the game shortly, and we'll see you guys in a sec.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared I walk a straight path. Not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that I don't see your face at any place that I go. I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb. I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up. Cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with any.
Hello, everybody. We are back for this first matchup of our 5v5 Conquest tournament featuring the Backpack versus Yamoja's Left Thigh. I'm still Joy, he's still Zexagon, and we're back.
And we are back once again, and have that confirmed that that will be Horus going right into the jungle. So I'm already excited to see what this game is about to entail for us. Starting off with the Mannequin Scepter on the Horus, going to find a lot of that burn damage off those auto attacks mainly, and might be going towards that mace tree as well. So interesting to see what mid man is gonna go into going off of that tree. Lots of great options for the Horus, and everything else seems pretty normal, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a little upset that there isn't any cheeky invades of the purple buffs, but that's just my spice of life, but maybe we'll see it further on in the tournament.
Definitely Hog used early for Swiftfish. Usually seeing some supports opt to use that for the second purple buff, but feeling like they're gonna have all the pressure in the world maybe, so decides to burn on the first buff, and with that they're automatically gonna hit that tick over level 2 a little bit quicker. Engage going right away off the Sully. Plot coming out from a Swiftfish, lots of damage coming out onto Canyon Cobra. Shell being used right away, and that's gonna knock them under T1 tower really early on, and having to lose that shell is just completely brutal off the side of Yamoja's left side.
And not only that, being behind his Artio is brutal.
Definitely, and we're seeing a level 2 gank coming out into Soul Land, gonna take a ton of damage off of Uller one trick, but isn't gonna find anything else on that, and gonna look towards that totem off a solo side. But Stun coming out, but gets re-engaged on. He's in trouble, catches the dash, and Midman's picking up first blood, but they're not done there. Chasing off Sony versus Yo Mom, going towards that blue buff, and will have to be forced to retreat back into his jungle. But early first blood already coming off of the backpack, courtesy of Midman 5.
And that's exactly what you have to expect from this Horus jungle, just early pressure. That's all that God brings. It's just pressure, pressure, pressure. You love to see it.
Definitely, and the chaos isn't over as Gaba picked up a kill in mid off of Bolt 13, so that's another one being headed on to the Morgan Le Fay. A really strong start coming up in the backpack.
Yeah, and this is what we kind of expected to see from this draft and these players. You know, a lot of early game pressure and a lot of skill to these players' names. So, not at all surprised to be seeing this.
Definitely, Pluck coming out is gonna catch up Stings, but is gonna be able to retreat under that tower and are gonna look towards see if they can invade anything onto their jungle as their enemy purple buff is coming up for Yamoja's left thigh.
And it seems like they're almost going to be caught out a little bit by the Sasano. Maybe they waited too long.
Not to where a double pull coming back off of versus Yo Mom and is going to completely engage on Sully. Sully trying to get away as fast as he can. Does find the stun off of the ricochet, so we'll buy him a little bit of space. We give him enough time to get back under his T1 tower, but Swiftfish might be getting looked at as the purple buff for the backpack is looking at an invade. Sully pokes his eye out, looking fine, but another pull coming off of Sony versus Yo Mom, and purple buff is going to get dropped, but doesn't look like they were able to get the invade, unfortunately, and we'll have to settle with just uh, just to retreat.
That is super unfortunate for Yamoja's left thigh. You rotate the 4-man rotation to defend the purple buff, catching out Sully and Swift, but aren't able to really get anything, and you can't even invade the order side purple off that pressure. That's really unfortunate. You're losing all the farm in mid from your rotation, and then not even being able to really get anything off that. That's really tragic.
Definitely, and then on top of that, we also just saw Uller one trick invade the blue buff off of Real BJ21. Here comes an ult coming from Midman. Cavalry charge is on the way, but it does get under tower, safe and sound. So 2 ults gone for the price of none. As a small W coming out for the Achilles in the soul lane, exchanging 2 ults for basically just a couple steps under tower. So very nice awareness coming from the real BJ21.
Yeah, that again, speaking of things that you don't want to see, wasting ults for nothing, you know, unfortunate that they weren't able to make those connect and get something out of it. You always want to be finding value, but not always possible.
Definitely pluck coming out from Swiftfish, but Sony vs. Your Mom is able to get that teleport to get him back to safety. So he's good there. Looking at Duo, a little bit of auto exchange coming out, mainly on the side of Canyon Cobra, but nothing gonna really come of it. Looking towards the mid lane, just the mid laners and with their supports are just farming casually as they're looking towards their red buffs that are just spawning up now. Slowly coming and looking to get aggressive here. Forced out from Canyon Cobra and is going to have to give up these castle camps to Sully. And small one coming out for the Hui looking towards solo lane. But mid lane flies in, but gets shield bashed right off the fly-in. So not much going to come there. Looking towards this blue buff invade, though, from the back. Gets started up by Midman, looking and flies forwards, but isn't going to find the stun quite yet. Knockup is good. One more ought to do it. Cavalry charge is coming in, but Midman is going to secure Sony versus Yo Mom, and I don't think they're done there. Here comes a little twirl, but isn't going to find enough damage to secure a kill or any sorts, but the Stings decides to join them up in solo, but instead, on the other side, here comes Sully and Swiftfish, and that will do it. That's going to secure Canyon Cobra. Another kill comes for Sully, and they're not done there. They're looking at the purple buff.
This has been a really impressive showing from Backpack. They're already 2k up and it's only 6 minutes in. The constant ganks on solo are really showing their dividends. Uller One Trick being about a level ahead, and Horus Midman actually being 2 levels up over his jungle opposition. Really good stuff coming out of them. They are really making the most out of this pressure.
Definitely making the best out of Sony versus Your Mom, not able to really get that that power online just yet. Finishing off that Transcendence just now, but at least he's able to really get something going on for his power and mana problems, so it might help a little bit now, but let's just hope he hasn't fallen too far behind to where it's going to be a problem later on.
Yeah, you really want to be able to get your feet under yourself in solo, and he has been able to catch up a little bit at least. You know, the level deficit cut probably about to a half now, so you know he's got a little bit of room to breathe. And now that he's got those mana core spikes that we keep mentioning over and over and over again, also present on the RDO, you start to chunk with those. They're mostly a tank item, but that passive is brutal.
Yeah, definitely. And the return of an item that we just saw get picked up by Sully have returned to the staff coming out, or people like to sometimes call it the Jimmy. So is going to provide a lot of good 1v1 potential for Sully, even after already, currently being 1-0, 2 levels up right now on Canyon Cobra. So, worse gets worse with that staff at his disposal.
The one bright side for Canyon Cobra on this X Ball is that he's actually keeping up and even a little bit ahead in Transcendence stacks. Maybe Sully delayed their back a little bit, but 19 stacks to 23. Well, about even from both sides, so that is the one silver lining.
Definitely. Rotation towards mid from the real BJ is going to find a little bit of damage on the Gamma, but nothing substantial. But here comes Midman 5, and he's got a friend with him too, who's bringing up Sully. One more, I do it. Ricochet is good. Will secure off Bolt. And re-engaging on the Sully. Dash coming in off of Midman. And here he comes. Here comes that Typhoon's going to find a little bit. Here comes the Sun's getting dropped. Completely run by. Tons are low. Sully's going to find a double. Uller One Trick picks up one of his own. Dash coming in off Canyon Cobra. Canyon Cobra's going to pick up Sully, but Uller One Trick finishes off Canyon Cobra. So right now, looking off that, you're seeing a 1 for 3 for the side of the backpack, and it looks like they're headed right towards that Gold Fury.
That was such an incredible team fight. You see the amount of knockups in the Dragon Flight, the Sobek pluck, the Horus knockup.
Oh, Your Mom pings him back on the mid-man 5 and captures him out. Won't be able to really do much about this Gold Fury, but manages to take the 1-for-1. Lurking around, though. Bolt is there. I'm a Monster coming out. Is going to find a little bit of damage. Not going to be able to strip it. That's going to be all she wrote. Backpack securing the first Gold Fury of the game.
What an attempt from the Emoji's left thigh team, getting the 1-for-1, or sorry, the 1v1 on Sony, winning that. You know, when you're behind, you want to get every bit of XP and gold that you can. So winning that little 1v1, you did lose the Gold Fury, but you know, you take what you can get.
Yeah, I don't really hate it altogether though, because that kill on Midman was so big, because that was who he was trailing. So him being off the map and and Sony getting a little bit more time to try to catch up in farm versus Midman is just already giving him that more extra time to try and make up the damage, just taking over the 10. So is trailing a little bit of farm behind Midman, but is now a lot closer than what he was before.
Indeed, it gives him a little bit of room to breathe, and even on the charts we saw it. There was the dip down in gold towards Emoji's left thigh's favor. It dipped back up after the Fury, but it did a lot to mitigate the damage of giving up that Gold Fury.
Definitely. And small little brawl on the right side harpies between Stings and Midman, but Midman getting the best of it as Goldfear Oracles being looked at by Sony is going to capture them off and
Are they grouping
looking
for
toward
Pyro? They are.
looking towards a pyro pull. Here comes the backpack, and around the corner is sought out by Stings, but isn't going to be really able to get in there as 4 strong right now on this Pyromancer. Still around the corner of the wall, and Cavalry Charge is going to be sought out by Uller One Tricks. Takes out the dash from Scylla, but decides to go into the tower. So I'm a monster going to find a little bit of damage on the tower, and he might have been pulled too much. Pulled back off of Sony versus your mom. Typhoon coming out is going to grab Scylla, and just missing the mark off of the execute from the real BJ. And now he's going to pay for his misplay, and he's going to go down to Midman. Sun's getting dropped by Sully, going to claim up Stings, and that's 2 for the price of none. Coming from the side of the backpack, and just wow, what a great re-engage off of the backpack to be able to clean up those kills. Really punishing those misplays coming from Emoji's left thigh.
Yeah, you see that Horus ult dropping down, and you know it's time to fight. They're getting right into that back line. You'll love to see that kind of action. About a 5k gold lead for backpack now. Really weighing the benefits of these objectives, getting the Pyromancer and the Gold Fury, along with the kills, a 10-2 lead for the backpack. Really kind of throwing their weight around, putting that gold lead to an advantage around the map, and that's exactly what you want to be doing.
Yeah, definitely, and even just a top tip of the hat to Sully, who's been an active presence. Not just in duo, but making the rotations to mid, finding lots of good Sunbreaker ultimates. So is doing great in terms of that, and there's no surprise why he's 4-1 right now. Getting that Kinsai's second item is already paying off as he's being able to shred these tanks a lot easier. And it's really just paying off for the backpack right now. Quick engage going around mid, though. Ultimate thrown out by Gaba is going to find a little bit of damage, but no kills to be had. As looking towards duo lane. Purple buff invade attempt, trying to go off by and decides to back off a little bit, but might look to aggress as he starts that purple again.
Yeah, Sully's standing on a ward there, got caught, had to back off, but does have a 2-level advantage, so the invade is now to the question.
Here we
Oh,
go.
but here comes Horus.
Mid-man to the sky, gets the engage, gets the knock up too, forces out the dash by Kanan, and Kanan's all in trouble. Nowhere to go. You've went to the wrong neighborhood, buddy. Sully picks him up, gets joined up. Sunbreaker is going to be dropped, trying to secure off Sony versus your mom, but will be able to get out just at the in the nick of time before the rest of the backpack shows up. But lurking in the waters is the Swift Fish, finds a little bit of damage off the Stings, and Emoji left thigh trying to retreat, but gets managed to get poked out by Swift Fish. Sully's gonna clean him up. Sony versus your mom, and they're not done there. Still in trouble, but a little bit extra damage off of Swift on the bolt, and that's gonna seal the deal off that. Red buff invade is good. Looking for a little extra damage on the Swift, but will not find it. Will only find a lost red buff, unfortunately. So another brilliant fight towards the backpack. Another great disengage, and now they're looking towards this Gold Fury again.
Yeah, it seemed like they were going to fully disengage there, just take what they had already won and left, but no, they re-engaged, and now they're, you know, reaping the benefits of that, getting the Primal Fury.
Definitely, Gold Fury is going to be secured by the backpack, and another re-engage. Sully's going to clean up the real BJ in the back line. You have Uller One Trick just completely going after Bolt, and then also Horus ult is being charged up. Uller One Trick finally cleans up Bolt, and they're playing with fire as Sully picks up Stings, and they're out down there. Beautiful pluck coming up from Swiftfish. Sunbreaker is getting dropped once again, and Sully with a beautiful bounce is going to claim up Canyon Cobra.
When we see the HP bar on Swift Fish on the Sobek, that man was so low, and he's like, I got faith in you, mid-man. I'm hopping in the Horus ult. I'm going in. He hits the pluck, sets up the kill. That was some guts from Swift Fish to trust to ride the lightning and hop in the Horus ult, but he was good to go.
Definitely, and there's lots of confidence coming out of a play like that too. You know, having so much faith in your team to do that, and also having faith in yourself. You know, if he doesn't make that pluck, he dashes further into the back line and probably just eats it.
Yeah, you know, at this point, you know, one Sylla ability could have been it, but he had faith.
He has faith, and Emoji left thigh dropping off some wards into the fire giant zone, so he's going to find a little bit of vision towards that. But we're joining back in mid. Emoji's left thigh, courtesy of Bolt right now, but the level leads right now are getting a little bit crazy right now. Uller One Trick, you know, finding a 4-level lead on top of the real BJ, and we're seeing a 5-level lead in ADC right now. Sully is really just able to, you know, bring the fire and kind of just do whatever he wants, but is gonna have to retreat as Yamoja's left thigh is coming. Here comes a dash coming off. Scylla Sikkim is thrown, but isn't gonna find a grab on the Sully. Is gonna get out very nicely as they're going to look to maybe try and push this Trebuchet. As here it comes, Pluck is good by Swiftfish, isn't able to find the stun after it by the hands of Sully, but coming around is Stings trying to maybe cause some havoc, but might not be it as mid lane, Gabba going to get picked up off of Sony versus Yom. Beautiful, but Sun's drop once again, going to find one last auto on Bolt and will claim up Bolt by the hands of Sully. Runs Canyon Cobra under tower, but re-engage coming up. Double knockup coming up by Midman. That's going to find two. And Midman's going to claim up Canyon Cobra. And on the other side, Sully's going to pick up Stings. And what a beautiful play coming out from Midman. The double knockup just completely secures that and is going to secure this T1 tower on left-hand side.
Yeah, that was a beautiful knockup by Midman. He's been hitting some lovely updrafts all night. You love to see it. Makes me want to go home and play some Horus after this.
Oh, he's really showing what why he's so comfortable and so strong on this god. Horus is putting in the work and is getting it done for the backpack, and it's easy to see why. He's playing a lot of these fights really smart. You know, a lot of these to the sky ultimates from Horus, finding, you know, grabbing a bunch of teammates and chucking them on the back line. Then, you know, the emojis left eye don't really have an answer for it. There's just so much damage and so much aggression from the squad. And like once we're seeing again Swiftfish right now, another beautiful pluck coming from Sony versus your mom, is able to dash out before he can take any more damage, but lots of damage still done, even if it's just, you know, the two tanks running at you. So gonna have to be a little bit careful on that. Slowly looking towards purple buff once again. Finds a nice double bounce. Aegis being dropped. Also being beads as well. And gets the knock up after the beads run out. Slowly finds a beautiful solo kill on the Canyon Cobra.
And you have to be thinking, I know it's only 19 minutes in, but if you're the backpack, it's Fire Giant time. Like
I think so. Yeah. I
over 13,000 gold. That's you know, that's items on everyone on the team. You know, you are fighting at such an advantage that you almost have to start thinking about, all right, how do we start pushing down these last few towers? And Fire Giant is the easiest way, it seems.
Definitely looks like they're gonna clear up this T2 on solo side, so that's gonna fall, and then might be looking towards a fire giant here as they're all going towards the jungle, looking like fire giant is the next call as they're running towards into the jungle, and yep, is gonna be started up by a Swiftfish. So fire giant is being looked at right now by the backpack, but Emoji's left thigh is aware of what's going on, but Horus Ult is coming out to engage onto the Shivalanke, and Canyon Cobra gets taken out. Doesn't even have a choice in the matter, and slowly getting a lot of damage. I'm a Monster coming out, finds a four-man hit, but not enough damage, even by a margin, and with that, Stings is just left out to dry. Midman going to claim up for the double kill onto the Horus, and Fire Giant being looked at once again at the 20-minute mark right now in this game. And around the corner is a real BJ, so does know he's there. Might try and wreak some havoc to maybe try and get a steal. Sees are going in. Here comes my BJ. Sunbreaker is dropping it out. The backpack is going to secure it. Not going to find much damage coming out from the real BJ. And with that, he's just going to fall anyways. Sully.
Yeah, unfortunate that for Yamoja's left side that they weren't able to steal that away, but you hate to see it, but your solo laner's level 13. He's sitting at a 5 level deficit. Uh, Uller one trick is almost full build at this point. You're just not doing as much, unfortunately. So, you know, good effort trying to steal away the fire giant, but not really much he could have done.
Definitely. And exactly what you were saying about Uller one trick, looking on the other side of the map as well. Sully almost full build as well right now, sitting 13-1 on this Huyi. They're really having a strong showing off him too. And once he gets full build, it's only really going to get worse once he's able to, deal the maximum amount of damage he possibly can. Only if you're being dropped off by the backpack, courtesy of Sully and the Swiftfish as well. So
Yeah,
really just the sky's the limit for these guys right now. They can do whatever they want. They are in complete control of this game. It is their game to lose at this point.
definitely. There's only they have still a good amount of time on with Fire Giant around their belt and only one tower to push down, so they can really slow play this as much as they want. Or maybe even start looking for a Phoenix. They are that far ahead that that is an option.
Definitely. And with Fire Giant as well, it's they have tons of options of what they want to do with this. May it be, look for a left hand or right hand Phoenix or look for that T2 in mid. It is completely up to them what they want to do with this power play.
Indeed. It looks
As
like they're going to start taking the mid lane Phoenix, pardon, tower.
Definitely. And I honestly don't hate this at all. Really opens up the map that much more. Ultimate being casted off by a mid-man is going to take them into the middle. Phoenix and Pluck right away coming off a Swiftfish is going to catch up a Kane Cobra. A Kane Cobra has to dash out. Mid Phoenix still standing, but is going to be dropped relatively soon. Just dropped right now. Suns are being dropped instantly. Is going to claim for real BJ, but Bolt in the back. I'm a monster catches Gamma, but it's not going to be enough, unfortunately, as they are storming the Titan room. Midman giving up a double kill. Sully grabbing a double kill of his own against Sony versus your mom. And they're looking at the Titan as only one standing right now. 4 Emoji's left thigh. Unfortunately, Bolt, no ultimate, is not going to be able to do a whole lot, getting completely zoned out by a Swiftfish. And with that, Titan will drop and game will go to the backpack.
Yes, well played by both teams, but Backpack just came out swinging from minute one. Their pressure and CC was hard to deal with, and it showed. They were just able to do pretty much whatever they wanted, and they really just pushed that advantage. I mean, look at Sully, 15-1-7, Midman, 8-1-14. They were all over the map, impacting everything. just really good from everyone on the side of Backpack.
Definitely a strong showing from that squad. They really, Sully, 15-1. Obviously, he was fragging out, but he wasn't the sole story of the squad. And as a matter of fact, it was the entire team synergizing well together, and we're really able to just do great things together. And I mean, look at Swiftfish 0022. He had perfect support stats. He was going crazy on that Sobek pick.
That is absolutely beautiful. You love to see it. My favorite thing as a support main is seeing that double digit number, you know, support stat line.
Yeah,
Warms my heart.
Swiftfish was going absolutely insane on this Sobek, and it's hard to not see why, because like he had his team around him that was really able to follow up on every pluck. He was even going for the gutsy plucks too, like where he'd like just go right in, right to the back by himself, find one, and then there's the rest of the team either jumping in or finding the ricochet stun or dropping the sunbreaker off of Sully or like a knock up on from midman. They were going crazy together. They're going to be a strong team to watch out for in this tournament.
Definitely would have to agree with you on that point.
But I guess with that being said, I think that wraps it up for the our round one. I believe is their best of ones up until the finals. I think, or
Yeah, I believe the finals will be best of 3, but the every other game will be best of 1 if I'm not mistaken.
okay. Well, I guess with that being said, that's all we really have for this one. So we'll be right back with the next round.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take a new song. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots, if I miss off, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it, and I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe? 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 Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying.
Welcome back, everybody. We are still Joy Wolf and Zexagon. We're back with the second round of the 5v5 Conquest Tournament, brought to you by the Smite Draft League.
And today we got for you Nobody's Perfect on your order side against Powa's new team represented on the Chaos side, as we're nobody's favorite. Or nobody's favorite, always order, rather. As going quickly through the ban phase, already taken away off the board is Kabrakan, Najah, and Lancelot on nobody's favorite. And then on Powa's new team, Yamoja, Susano, and Yu Huang all taken off the board for the first stage of the ban phase.
Yeah, these all make sense. Pretty hard-hitting gods. I mean, we even saw last game what Susano can do, and again, another first pick Guan Yu.
Yeah,
Is
a
is
lot seems favoring this Guan Yu.
he has the ability to engage CC immunity. He procs Fablest hoops really easily. It just makes sense.
It just makes sense, and also once again, lots of great sustain for the team late game. And switching up a little bit, as we got Kakon and Cupid getting locked in on the side of Powa's new team.
Yeah,
So very strong. Got some anti-heal in Kakon's kit already, so we'll be able to deal with the Guan in lane pretty well. Cupid also, the Fields of Love, super valuable ultimate, really able to shake up a team fight. So if they can find some meaningful ultimates off the Cupid, it's going to be a problem coming for nobody's favorite.
indeed. Cupid has been a strong pick for a while now, so not surprised to see it here. Kakulin just oozes early lane pressure, so definitely looking to run it down a bit, perhaps in the solo lane, knowing that he will be up against a Guan Yu.
Definitely, and that's the great thing about Kakulon is he's able to find that pressure so early in these laning phases due to the transform of Kakulon, really, giving you basically a free mystical mail, and an extra set of abilities that just do tons and tons of damage. So free pressure always coming out for early on is never something to be upset about, as nobody's favorite really taking a little bit of time to get those last two gods selected. Finally seeing them. We're seeing the Kepri picked up as well as the Vulcan. So
Yeah, Vulcan has seen a resurgence due to the recent buffs, and Capri has just been ever valuable due to his res.
definitely the Scarab's Blessing being a fantastic ultimate for the Hug Bug. Being able to really allow those tanky players like the Guan Yu to be able to dive and not have to worry about dying or anything like that. As to trying to tip the scales in their favor, Nemesis is going to be selected for Powa's new team. A lot of great protection shred coming off of Nemesis with that ultimate. So
Yeah, I have to imagine that this is going to Powa. He absolutely loves the Nemesis. This is one of his signature picks. Not at all surprised to see that he is going to be piloting this Nemesis.
definitely going in through the last phase of the bans, Pele and Ravana going towards more jungle type bans for nobody's favorite, and on their side looking a little bit more support targeted so far, at least, with Ganeshi being taken off the board.
The Order side team really is using up a lot of their bank time.
And once again, RDO will top off their ban phase, as well as Geb being selected by Powa's new team. So another fantastic support choice for those guys. The health shields proving to be a really strong factor, as well as that Cataclysm. Just a really strong team fight ultimate. If you're finding a multi-man Cataclysms, that's a lot of time you got to really be able to rack in that damage quick and early. Finishing off nobody's favorite, you got Daji and Artemis is gonna top off what they're going with, and Daji being a great strong jungle pick right now with those chains, being able to pull them out Powwow, as well as Artemis, being able to do a lot of late game damage, and with the help of Tusky being able to give her that extra bit of CC immunity or even a lot of extra damage in these team fights.
And those will be our teams for the second game of the match. We're going to go away for a moment, but we will be back with you shortly. I walk a straight path, not many can say that. I like to play fast, cross me and there's payback. You better pray that
gotta go, I know you hate that. I've been doing fine, I'm not wasting any more time. I live for the fight and the climb, and I think that the pain that's deep inside is what defines. So I won't give up, I'm gonna make it to the top. I don't care what's in my way, I swear I'm never gonna stop. I could fall flat on my face and I swear I will get back up, cause I don't deserve a thing and the road ahead is tough. They'll try to kick you while you're down, they wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt, they're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Then it's your chance to be ruthless. I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head, constantly thoughts jumbled round, think I need...
Welcome back, everybody. We are here with the second round of the Smite Draft League 5v5 Conquest Tournament. I am Joy Wolf, and he is...
Zexagon, hi. How's it going, guys? We are back once again, back in game for round two. Nobody's favorite versus Powa's new team. We didn't really get a chance to talk about the comps quickly, but what are you feeling about this one, Joy? Who do you want to give the edge to?
I am really liking this Geb pick. Personally, a Geb enjoyer, but not only with the ability to engage with the big Cataclysm ult, but also the ability to cleanse with his Stone Shield should play a big part in this game.
Yeah, 100%. For the sake of, like, I like both these teams comps personally. I don't know. There's something about nobody's favorites comp that I just like a little bit more because it's a pretty cutthroat comp. It kind of tells you what it wants to do just by looking at it. It kind of paints a picture for you. In terms of Powa's new team, though, it's a little bit different on the other side. I'm not really sure how to feel about it. Like, I like it, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it basically, but I think I think both these comps have the potential to do great things, and with the type of that,
Indeed.
yeah, that's kind of
It,
just where I'm sitting.
it's going to come down to execution from both of these squads.
Yeah, definitely. Nobody's favorite taking a little bit of the pressure early on into the dual lane will be able to get the first Jimmy staff of the game as Maurer hops over to get those oracles on near the Gold Fury, so grants a little bit of vision to him and his squad, at least in that pit. Going towards mid lane, a lone Vulcan by Lumiere is going to find the meatball on top of Slim. Going to find a little bit of damage there. Backfire will take out a few minions, rejoined by Malware. He doesn't have to clear out those mids, but looking in solo side, both solos a little bit hurt for wear here, but a little bit of an edge right now going to Heavy as he does tick over the 3 just before Bensworthy, so he's going to get pressure in that regard. Back to Duo. Heart Bomb going to be launched onto Easygoing, so we'll take that stun away from the minions to keep those minions as strong as they possibly can be as they grant pressure again. Maybe look for a coming purple buff invade.
Yeah, looks like the invade out of Crisp and Easygoing just sitting there waiting for the purple buff to spawn as Malware and Bensworthy grab their own blue buff.
But here comes Pow's new team is aware, but the purple buff invade is good, coming up from nobody's favorite. Power Bomb is going to go right on to easy going, but isn't going to really do anything more than that. A very successful purple buff is going to be granted to them, but here comes the Abduct coming good, but is going to miss the mark on the King of Darkness. Heart Bomb coming up. He might have bit off more than he could chew. Shell being used, but isn't there looking for a little bit of body blocks coming up, but is going to get behind. But now, King of Darkness maybe stepped a little bit too forward and takes a chunk of damage coming out from Crisp. So Crisp, Crisp going to have to go to the back end of his minion camp, and both the supports a little blow for blow there, and both getting a little bit too greedy, in my opinion, taking a little bit more damage than they probably should have.
Yeah, both have used all of their pots already, and King of Darkness though, going with the earring starter. I don't believe gives any procs, just MP5, but for the low cost of 400 gold, it is definitely valuable for supports. Looks like he may be going into the Manticore's Spike first item. That would be an interesting thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Both mids looking together. Meatball is going to be good on the 0, but going to find the strife of his own onto Lunier. So a little bit of exchange on damage there. Chris looking to get a little bit active right now. Here comes Tusky coming out. Is going to catch a dash on Powa, but Powa gets under tower, but he's got to be a little bit careful. Here comes the blink coming up from King of Darkness. Heart Bomb goes right on the Crisp. Crisp gets stunned coming out. No Cataclysm yet, though, for King of Darkness, as he is only 4, but nobody's favorites spots what's going on in duo, so gives it a quick look, but besides, it's not exactly what they want to get attentive to just yet. But Meatball coming out on the Slim, gonna force him a little bit deeper into his own jungle. As going towards back to duo, here comes King of Darkness, goes in. It's a little bit of a knock up, but not much else going to be guided on top of that.
And I have to imagine here that if Powa or King of Darkness had ultimate, that Crisp on this Artemis would have been taken down. Already burnt the beads and the ultimate aggressively. I don't think there would have been any way if either of those ults had come out, but just not quite level 5 yet, so Crisp lives another day.
Definitely Crisp getting a little bit lucky on in that aspect, and gets to chill for now, but Will might have to be a little bit more cautious if he wants to use that boar aggressively into the future.
Looking across the board, as Pal's new team secure their own purple buff, so you'll love to see that for them, as they have kind of stabilized from the pressure of the early game. But not any significant gold lead, only about 100 or so for nobody's favorite. Not what really, that's ward change, you know. That
Yeah,
really isn't gonna mean a whole lot, but you know, levels are also pretty even, so yeah, everyone's
definitely.
just farming, rotating the crops, you know, farming the buffs, doing what they can.
Would you see Zero and Mid be able to get that Warlock staff early, a little bit just before Lunar, but a little bit of a Fields of Love drop coming from Power, but isn't going to find much onto Crisp. Oh, didn't even use the ult, and the beads are still down, so not much really used off that. Still going to just heal up through his Death Toll. Come a little bit of gank towards mid from Slim. Finds a little bit of damage off of easy going, but not enough to warrant anything on top of that. Looking towards mid, Malware has joined the party, but is probably just going to rotate towards his backs and also the Greater Scorpion on Order's side. And that's really going to be it. There's not been a whole lot of forced fights early. There's been, maybe one or two, and we've been come close to a first blood, but nothing's been seen or nothing's been confirmed yet. So
Yeah, and it looks like even both teams are about dead even in the obelisks. Maybe one, if any, uh, more than the more for Powa's new team. A little bit hard to tell there, but almost everything is just dead even from these teams. I'm excited to see when one of these teams will be able to bust this bust
Here
this
comes the
game open with.
here comes the Palo. Is gonna pull off one, but beads are gonna be used by Slim, so gonna be able to get that for enough for just the beads, and a very good beads usage by Slim too, as Malware was quick on the pull, but Slim just a little bit faster on the beads, so we'll be able to save his life and get a red buff for Lumiere going towards Duo. Looking might be getting a little bit aggressive. Ops not to. Gonna pull up this Scorpion, maybe try and get the staff here, but here comes that Calderian board coming out. Fields of Love is on the other side. And one more on to do it. Crisp finds it with the arrows coming down and secures first blood. Slim is gonna go down, unfortunately. So will get sent back to base, and that's a great start off for Chris, but joining the party, here comes King of Darkness. Heart Bomb is gonna be good onto easy going, but he's only going to find a little bit of damage on top of that. Purple buff invade going to the side of nobody's favorite. And we'll give Crisp a little bit more. Here comes the apple getting tossed out by Zero, but will not connect on the Malware. Still, a party is going down onto Duo's side, getting very low right now as King of Darkness is going to get pushed out by the damage of Crisp. And next Pow is next on the menu, but Dash is going to be good, or at least will be good to get him to the tower line of his T1. And nobody's favorite is going to look towards the Oracles by Gold Fury.
Something I'm finding interesting is all the HP chalices. Um, Obviously, not having to pay for HP potions, but I wonder late game are they gonna sell them as that way they have slots for their sentry wards and their regular wards, or if they're just going to be just buying sentries.
Yeah, it really I'm really wondering that too. I think at some point they're gonna eventually just sell them and kind of hold on to the yell, because eventually it only gets you so far, right? And you're gonna want to get that map coverage over, being healed when you're already so tanky. Kakolin is going to be able to TP away to get out of danger after going for the blue buff there, and that's really all that's gonna be said. They do get the TP out of him though, so
Yeah, won't be able to return to lane with that. Maybe losing some pressure and some farm, but outside of that, nothing really, nothing ventured, nothing lost.
definitely. I don't think he's worried too much. Already having a level lead on Bensworthy right now on the Guan Yu, so I don't think he's too worried about the little bit of XP he might miss, but could become crucial later on if he does, if some things don't quite go his way.
Definitely. And even with the first blood, only is about still a 200 gold lead for nobody's favorite. So still, this game is anybody's game. It is rather close.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is gonna go one of those games where they're gonna chill until it gets to late, play a little bit passive, but right there, Malware and the Powwow is gonna come up, gonna capture the Geb. Cataclysm comes out. Volcanol is gonna be dropped as well, but Easy Going is gonna be able to get the secured kill on the King of Darkness. So one going down, and credit to the Hug Bug, as Gold Fury is gonna be on the menu next for nobody's favorite. Picked up, and 4 strong right now. Should be able to drop this no problem. Nobody else really nearby to really contest, but Slim the Rebel is aware, trying to maybe show face, but will not be enough. Nobody's favorite is going to secure the first Gold Fury.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was wondering is in the Geb Stone Shield, there is a cleanse for that Daji ult. If somebody has beads down or something like that, I was wondering if King of Darkness would have the reaction time to be able to get his stone shield on whoever was pulled. And it seemed like that time it was himself, and unfortunately wasn't able to shield himself, or maybe it was down. But I wonder if that'll come into play in the future.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the tide of the tail to see if he's able to pull that off. the one hard thing about that is that it's such an important ability for team fights to really want to try and prioritize that going on to maybe with some of your more squishier allies to really try and give a little bit more survivability to really try and get that damage in. But
Yes, definitely. It is such a big shield to chew through. And, depending on how much cooldown is built by King of Darkness, it can be on a very short cooldown. So when you're spamming that shield, it definitely makes a difference.
definitely some early damage right there coming up from Lunier. The double meatball is going to do already a ton of damage coming out, hitting that 13-minute mark in the game. Quite a few fights so far, but only 2 kills on the board, so both teams playing relatively passive with, some hints of aggression here and there, but nothing really too crazy with like hard commits. But here comes the trap, is gonna pick up Powa, but gets under tower. Nice safe, and Palau is gonna miss up the Geb, but King of Darkness finally gets finished off with the help of the Caledonian Boar. So that's gonna give another to Chris, bring the Artemis to 2-0-1. So Chris making it happen right now in this dual lane, getting tons of value from this Artemis pick, and an Artemis ahead is an Artemis that you're gonna really enjoy for this team, especially getting that late game carry on so early.
Yeah,
Earlier.
yeah. Artemis is definitely one of the gods you do not want to have to be diving late game with all of her damage and her Caledonian Boar. She just drops that at her feet and it rams its head into your leg, It's going to slow you down. You don't want to see that. So getting this far ahead this early in the game is definitely a boon for the nobody's favorite squad.
Definitely, and they're looking good here. Right now Gold Fury down, so they're pretty much just chilling over there, especially with that T1 down as well. And left Meatball is going to be good. Lots of damage coming out. Here comes the apple, and just barely misses Lunier, being able to just get away from the skin of his teeth. That had to be inches
It
away
was
from capturing
so
that Vulcan.
close. Oh my god. Pour one out for Zero, man. I feel for ya. That's me whenever I try to play Discord, Definitely not missing. It's always just that bad bounce.
Definitely, he did actually get a favorable bounce, but unfortunately, just barely ever so missing the mark onto Lunar to be able to secure it, and that would have been huge for Powa's new team. Unfortunately, coming short of it, and Abduct going to be good. Meatball is going to get one more, ought to be good. Is going to go, here comes the ultimate, is just short of the mark too. So Zero going to be escaped for just a second, but easy going will do enough to be able to capture the kill. That's another one going to the Hug Bug. This dual lane of nobody's favorite is capturing all the kills right now.
Yeah, and that's really where you see these leads forming. Geb, piloted by King of Darkness, 3 levels behind, easygoing on the Capri. Powa 2 levels behind Crisp. This dual lane's really feeling it. Everyone else, about a level or so, give or take, mostly even, but that dual lane has had a rough go of it.
Yeah, and definitely got the brunt of it all, but pushing down the duo side, his Power might be able to capture a T1 for his team, so a little bit of additional gold never hurt anybody, and should have no problem bringing this one down, so
Yeah.
it'll definitely be a help for Power and his new team as
Mm-hmm.
well. And
Definitely.
teams all grouping towards this left-hand side. Gold Fury spawning soon. Looking like going to be an Oni coming up next. But here comes Malware aggressing right onto Powa. And here comes it in the Powwow. 2 shots, 3 shots, good. And we'll claim Powa. Picked up kill by Malware. This Dodgy is starting to come online. The 24 stack strong onto that Transcendence is really going to start getting tons and tons of damage out now. And another Oni Fear picked up, looking to be confirmed, and will be confirmed by Lunier on the Vulcan. No big deal off that. Oni Fear secured by nobody's favorite.
Yeah, and they continue this pattern of, all right, we're gonna gank duo, pick up a kill, and then head to Gold Fury, and it's been working for them. This is the second objective that they've picked up like that. So it's working for them, and they've slowly developed about a 4K lead. So they're out attritioning Powa's new team.
Yeah, definitely. And they're very I'm trying to think of the word, but they're very conditioned, right? Where they're taking fights they know they can win, but they're not taking fights that they know that'll be a 50-50, you know? And
Hmm.
they're playing it so well. They're playing very cautiously, but like they're like it's very passive aggressive, you know? Like and they're doing it so well, and it's why they're 5-0 right now. They haven't given Powa's new team anything to work with, and they're playing the map well and they're sticking to their guns.
Yeah, they are making very few mistakes for Powa's new team to capitalize off of.
Yep, definitely. And it started off really, you gave an early kill to Crisp, and Crisp's been kind of running with it ever since. Right now he's brought himself to a 202 now, level up on Power, but I feel like he's definitely brought a lot to the table so far, with the early rotations, being able to, deal that much more damage and just looking great right now for nobody's favorite. And if they can keep this up, then they might be able to capture this game.
Yeah, they definitely have a clear avenue of uh, just keep farming the map extremely well, and there's definitely an avenue for them to win the game through that avenue.
Definitely. And just off the top of that, easy going gets a little bit of a break as he was able to just dodge the dash off a heavy warrior. But here comes that Caledonian boar. He's gonna do a lot of damage to Geb. Malware gonna find the last swipe and is gonna pick up King of Darkness into that powwow into the background. And then Malware finds himself a nice little double kill, but in the back is Heavy Warcrier doing tons of damage, but isn't gonna find anything quite yet. Might actually get another kill coming to this Kepri. The abduct is going to be good. One ground pound will be good, but won't be good enough. Crisp is going to find his third kill of the game on the heavy roar crier. But in the back, Bede's going to be dropped by Bensworthy, is still taunting around by Slim onto his yellow buff here and is going to try and take it himself, but is going to concede and won't try and fully greed as Xero does join up Slam to help secure that purple buff. So very, very smart decision by Ben's worthy to pull out.
And again, as you said, just nobody's favorite, just making the smart plays, just as it seemed like they were gonna get a pick. Oop, nope, Scarab's Blessing.
Yep, and that's just it. They're playing really well. Fire Giant being looked at. Fire Giant going to go down uncontested. So a very nice 20-minute Fire Giant for nobody's favorite. And right now, T2 or T1 on right is going to have a mini wave under tower with a little bit of proxy action as well. Trebuchet also pushing up mid for nobody's perfect too. So really just multi-managing these towers, and we're seeing Crisp on the right hand side too, drawing up Ben's worthy to be able to knock down that T1 on right. They're really just they're playing tower sweep right now. They're doing all the T1s they possibly can after fire. They still got that Treb in mid too, doing tons of damage to that mid tower. Pyromancer also being looked at as well. So they're really just keeping tabs on everything. They're really okay with the style that they've chosen, and it's working for them. They're doing great. In the back, just by T2, there comes Bensworthy, going to be a little bit annoying towards Powa's new team, but decides to pull back to the rest of his team. T1 drops. Trebuchet, pretty much no health at all, so not going to be too worth pushing up anymore. But jump coming in from Heavy War Crier with easy going, looking for maybe a pull, but a little bit too at the back of the tower to really commit to anything. Double meatball coming from Lunier, so a little bit of damage there. Two-man strife is going to catch a few. But here comes the engage. Here comes that cavalry charges coming with Caledonian Boar coming out into the powwow. His Malware Kickies looking for a bunch of pulls. Might find one, but Kukulkan manages to ult at the last second to negate that powwow. So nobody dies just yet, but gives them tons of room to be able to take down this T2 in mid. Might be looking for a re-engage two-man strife, but the heal coming up from Bensworthy is just too strong with those hoops. It's going to heal up them real nice going on to be able to look back at this Gold Fury.
Yeah, just clean all around. You see the engage, you see the big Vulcan Earthshaker come through. Just very, very well planned out team fight from nobody's favorite as they take the Gold Fury.
Yep, and then we get a re-engage coming in from Bensworthy in the back. Feels a lot being dropped. Heavy Warcrier gets one and brings Powell's new team onto the board. But Bensworthy's going to turn it back on the Powell, and that brings one, and down goes to Keep It. Here comes the Earthshaker, and down goes Zero. Make it one more for Lunier, and add another to Chris while you're at it. Heavy Warcrier is going down, and that's going to force out the Blink coming out from King of Darkness, and he is out. But not much to really say about that. That is 4 down for Powell's new team, and 4 strong for nobody's favorite, as they are looking to push down this mid Phoenix, and doesn't look like King of Darkness is going to have much to say about it, as here they come with the minion wave 2. This thing is going to melt like butter.
And that's the mid bird. You hate to see Geb having to blink out. You know, you always want to see those big blink in cataclysms, but blinking away for his own safety. Most teams are unable to get a Phoenix off their first Fire Giant push. You know, they just take all the towers, get all the gold, spend up, take the second FG, and then they're ready to start sieging Phoenixes. But nobody's favorite actually able to take that mid bird first Fire Giant. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah, definitely, and especially when they also capped it off with that mid T2 just to be able to start it all, and then the bleeding just kept coming, and then they're just really able to take advantage of all these objectives, and you know, now they're having a commanding 11k gold lead at this point, basically. So they're really starting to pull ahead here, and Pow's new team, you know, in that last engagement, they were able to get a kill of their own. They were finally able to get on the board, but at this point, it doesn't seem like it's going to be even close to enough. At this point, they're all going to have to play for the level 20 and trying to even out the playing field before they can really try and capitalize on anything here.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they started pushing with the Trebuchet into the mid tier 2, as most of the time you want to start either from right to left and then, you know, sweep. But that way you don't have to, you know, you start mid and then head left and you have to sweep back right. But that isn't the case if you just take the Phoenix.
Yeah, no, I think at this point, I think they knew what they were going to be getting off of it, and you know, this team is really good at being sure at what they're gonna get, if that makes sense. They know they were gonna go in. They knew they were able to get the T2, no problem. And then after they found all the kills, they knew they were able to go for the mid bird and then even get that T2 on the right hand side as well. So they're really strong at knowing what they can do and when they can pull out. And
Yeah,
that's what we're seeing in this game.
and if we're looking at it, it looks like nobody's favorite has absolutely dominated the ward coverage.
Definitely,
Near the
but
Fire
Bensworthy
Giant.
is in trouble. But here comes the Palau. Caledonian Boar is going to stop at one. Terror's Blessing gets dropped on the Bensworthy. Malware Cookies picks up King of Darkness, though, as well as Heavy Warcry also fell earlier. So we'll get 2 down on Pow's new team. Fire Giant being looked at by nobody's favorite gets pulled off, but I think Pow's new team is aware they're just not, they don't have what they need to be able to contest this, so are going to let it go. Nobody's favorite is going to pick it up. Pyromancer does spawn, but I think they're hard set towards something else, looking towards to push down this right-hand side to maybe look for that right-hand bird as well.
And I like the lack of appearance from Pow's new team as the Sprute comes out. Hopefully that was just a misinput, but without their front line, there wasn't much they would be able to do to contest.
Here comes Fields of Love, though, right on this Phoenix defense. Is going to catch 3 of them. Meatball coming out onto Slim the Rebel, so that's going to poke him a little bit. But 3-man knock-up coming off of King of Darkness, but is not going to be enough. That right-hand bird is gone. As mid Phoenix also coming close to respawning, so might want to just contest off mid to try and knock down that bird once again to reset it. But Heavy Warcrier maybe stepped up a little bit too far, but decides to get out. Caledonian Boar comes out. Earthshaker does a whole bunch of damage to the Heavy Warcrier, but won't be enough. But King of Darkness in trouble once again. Will get picked off by Crisp. That's going to add another one to him. 5-0-8 on this Artemis. Kakon in the backline, Heavy Warcry does find a 4-man knock-up, gets a transformation. We'll try and get a push off onto Bensworthy, but isn't going to find a whole lot of damage after that. Chris might be in trouble, though, but Scarab's Blessing gets popped on him, being able to top him off easy going. We'll be able to get Crisp out nice and safe and sound. Bensworthy going to be the last one to get out through the gates, and two birds down. We're going to be looking towards that T2 finally on duo side, so that'll go down nice and easy. And right now they're going to, I think, just retreat after that. I think they found all they really can. Might be looking towards the gold Fury. Mentioned that's a primal, so will help with the sieging a little bit coming towards when they want to look towards maybe ending. But
Indeed.
and yeah, that's pretty much it. They're really just playing a clean game of Smite right now, and Powa's new team is doesn't really have an answer for it.
Yeah, you really just have to almost hope, pray, and farm, you know? There's really not much you can do when you have this much of a deficit, you know? 16K is a lot of gold.
Yes, it is, and it really just feels like it just keeps on going. There really is no stoppage to this bleeding. No matter how many band-aids they put on it, they just nobody's favorite is just continuously going and going with the fights, and they're not even fine. Like they've had a few like four-man wipes, but for the most part, towards the early game, they're only getting like maybe one or two kill sprees, and then they would just pull out because at that point they knew they would already won the engagement. They didn't need to greed for more because they knew no matter what they were getting after that, it was going to be extra or a win in their book.
Definitely, and it looks like they're going to be grouping up for this duo side Phoenix, completing the sweep of the birds. I wonder after that if they might start pushing for Titan.
Bensworthy comes in, so Chris was able to get to work early on taking down this bird and going to be joined by the mini wave, so that's going to help his damage numbers a little bit. And this thing's going to go down before Powa's new team has anything to even say about it. But here comes Malware Cookies looking for teleport in. Caledonian Boar is coming up. Crisp finds up Zero. Fields of Love coming in, but completely melted by Crisp. Earthshaker coming in once again. Gonna find Mun, but Crisp gets taken down by King of Darkness. That's gonna earn him a shutdown. But at what cost? His own life. As Lunar is gonna pick up them, and they're gonna be looking towards the Titan, maybe. But there's gonna be a whole lot, a lack of shred without Crisp. But they're still going for it, as is down to Heavy War Crier and Slim the Rebel to deal with all of nobody's favorite, as this Titan has gone to half, a little bit lower than that, but still taking up a little bit of time. Malware finally takes out Slim, so now it's just Heavy War Crier, and there's just no chance. This Titan's going down, and the game's going to nobody's favorite.
What a clinical performance from nobody's favorite. They had a stranglehold on this game. They just didn't make enough mistakes for Powa's new team to be able to capitalize on.
Yeah, they really just played an honest game of Smite, and that's really all there is to say. They played it as clean as you possibly could. They didn't give Powa's new team any breathing room to really do anything. You know, they got Crisp ahead early, and Crisp was really just able to snowball the dual lane so far away that he was able to rotate over to, solo side to be able to capture some of those pyromancers into some of the towers into solo. And then they were just able to just tower sweep and, still find, small amounts of kills from small amounts of kills until they were just really able to just completely take it to them and, find some of those almost D-side plays to where they had all the room in the world to do whatever they want.
Exactly. They just uh took uh a small gold lead and then just kept pushing it and expanding it. You know, if you look at the gold chart, it probably looked just like an uphill mountain. It was rough to watch if you were a fan of Powa's new team.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all we have to really say about the match. It was a strong performance once again by everyone on the side of nobody's favorite. Yeah, just a strong showing from all of them. Most most notably, I'd say Crisp had one of the bigger impacts from the team, really able to just bring out tons of damage, sitting at that 34K right there. and was able to just find tons of damage. Only dropped once, and that was pretty much right down to that last siege right before going into the Titan room. But luckily enough, there was enough damage to spread across the rest of nobody's favorite to where the Titan just kind of fell, and that was just pretty much the point for them of where they were able to capture the win.
Wonderful points. That is going to wrap it up for the first half of the Smite Draft League 5v5 Conquest Tournament. When we come back, you will be joined by some new faces. Uh, but for now, it has been Joy and Zexagon. We'll see you later.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me,
tough film.
Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who were have-nots, who are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who were have-nots, who are not as tough as me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. Bad energy is like a poison, need some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe. There's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite
Hello and welcome to the semifinals for the Smite Draft League Bring Your Own Team tournament. I'm Anthony and I have with me Kingfisher.
Hello, everybody. Really happy to be here getting into the semifinals. We have, once again, the team's nobody's favorite taking on the one and only Mr. Swiftfish's team. I can't think of the name. There it is. Backpack, sorry.
Backpack. And yeah, it's been a fantastic tournament so far, but I think so far the name of the game and the main storyline has really been one-sided games.
Yeah, they really have been. We just saw an absolute thrashing last game. Nobody's favorite really putting the enemies through their paces. And we're going to see them getting into picks and bans here now. Taking out Kabrakan and Naja for them. Two kind of what would really be considered out there bans up until like maybe a month ago.
Yeah, it's so strange how things in Smite can take a turn at any day. And on the other side, we've got a Khepri, Guan Yu, and Da Ji man. So it almost feels like they were watching the last game.
I definitely would expect that. I do really like the Khepri ban. Their support did absolutely insane last game. And it's going to be a Susano lock-in. I believe they went this game one as well.
Yeah, they did, and it was incredibly effective. You know, I was watching that game, and something that really was sticking out to me was the Susano ultimates were on point, and they weren't... A lot of times, you'll see Susanos fall into this trap of throwing their tornadoes out of the very end of a fight, trying to mop up kills. But the Susano in that first game was set up and just causing chaos. I love to see it.
Yeah, Susano, not normally one of the junglers I think about when you really talk about the game-changing ones with massive ults that can disrupt, but he was popping off on it. And on the other side, we see a Cupid, an ADC that's really gained a lot of popularity lately.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Cupid for me has kind of always been a mainstay because at the end of the day, when you really try to simplify down Smite, what matters most? Big circles. And Cupid's got one of the nastiest big circles in the entire game in Fields of Love.
He does indeed, and that Heart Bomb does a deceptive amount of damage. Got nerfed against minions as well, so I'd be interested to see if Backpack is kind of gonna pull out a more lane-heavy god here, or just kind of wait until late game and hope they can outduel that Cupid, who will be piloted by Crisp. He was on the Artemis last round.
Yeah, and Chris was going to have a very tough time going up against Sully, because in that first game, we did see Sully have himself one heck of a game on Hou Yi.
Yeah, and now the Yu Huang lock-in, a little bit surprising. The 9.9 bonus update did give him a little bit of a nerf, not much, just decreased scaling on his dragons. But obviously not going to dissuade them here is on the other side, Fafnir and Horus. This is a really interesting team comp here from Backpack.
I do, but I gotta be honest, after watching how Swift played in that first game, seeing Swift pick up that Fafnir here, I'm so excited to see how it's going to be utilized. The Sobek in that first game, the setup was incredible, and the positioning was nothing to scoff at either. And if you combine Fafnir and those stims with Sully, there's going to be a tough time coming away the other side.
Definitely will be, and I think this draft kind of speaks a little bit how nobody's favorite is feeling heading into this one. They're just sticking with their bans. They're already running an entirely new team comp, while Backpack banned out 3 members that were really, really important to the win last time, and they've been allowed to get their same team from game 1. So maybe nobody's favorite feeling really good going into this one.
Yeah, and confidence is going to be key, because this is, I mean, obviously moving on to the semifinals, this is one of the most contentious matches we're going to see this entire time, and I'm very excited for it. But these team comps, like you said, they're playing to strengths, and I think at the end of this game, we're going to find out that it came down to the team chemistry alongside that mechanical skill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think nobody's favorite had a more convincing win, but can't put Backpack out of it like that. I think this is definitely going to be the hotter semifinal of the day.
Absolutely.
Soul ban, that one kind of confusing me. I almost never see Soul in competitive. Maybe a target ban, do you think?
It's definitely possible, because for me, the only time that Soul pops in my head is if I'm worried about the design of the character model. But I do think it's a target ban, because I'm having a hard time thinking what else it could be, unless they're worried that it's going to kind of work into some counter of their team comp that they haven't thought of yet.
Yeah, possibly. And Gabba and Soli, not really two I would think of as playing Soul. I know Gabba really likes that Morgan Le Fay, which is unbanned, and Soli did pilot the Hou Yi last time. So they might be able to run back their exact same team comp, and Pele, that is a malware cookie, is special. He does insanely well on this pick. And And it's not a meta one either, so it might be really hard for them to deal with this if they don't know how to shut her down early.
Yeah, for me, I would have target banned Sully instantly with the Ho Yi, because obviously there's other characters, but in these kind of tournaments you can't deny it, and it looks like I might be proven wrong here with the Medusa, but you just can't, you can't rule out the strengths of one person.
Exactly. Casters are all faking what we know. It is not going to be the Morgan Le Fay and Ho Yi, but instead Persephone and Medusa. Two really strong picks, and I love this Persephone ult with the Susanna ult. There is going to be some massive damage landing on one member, and they probably aren't going to live through it.
And a last second change to the Freya. What do you think about that, Fish?
I'm a little mixed. I like Freya as a character, but I think into this comp, maybe Medusa more. I think the only good thing is going to be able to get away from that Ganesha Dharmic Pillars extremely easily. So that's going to make the job of Swiftfish a lot easier on that Fafnir. That's one less person he has to worry about peeling out of there.
Yeah, and it looks like Shiva is being hovered as the last pick here.
Ooh, and that, I don't think we've seen that this tournament so far. It could be mistaken, but that'll be in the solo lane for Bensworthy. We saw in the Guan Yu last game, and these are two really drastically different characters.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, both teams are going to be locked in and locked up. And I don't know about you, Fish, but I cannot wait to get into this game. So we'll see you in there.
Try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing. Won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything. I don't want to
Seen no many ones that are so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
All right, and we're here in game. Backpack versus nobody's favor. Once again, I'm Anthony, and I have with me Kingfisher. And boy, am I excited for this matchup. And it looks like those gods went to some interesting places.
Yeah, definitely. Susano solo, not what I expected. I mean, I guess Midman did take the Horus game 1, so I should have been ready for it.
Yeah,
And
once
yeah,
again, those casters know nothing, like you said.
Exactly. We're all just big frauds. But I think the big matchup for me, at least, is going to be Cupid into Freya. Cupid clears wave well. He can play really aggressively if he gets a lead. So Soli is going to have to be on his game if he doesn't want to fall behind really early.
Yeah, for sure. The Cupid's advantage this game is going to be that very early lane pressure, so he's going to have to take advantage. All right, backpack's ready, favorites ready. Let's go. First camps are getting down. Everybody's making their way. So tell me what you're looking for. We talked about duo. We talked about the jungle. Tell me what you're looking for from supports this game.
Support, honestly, I might be biased because I played ADC for a while, but the sooner they get out of lane, the better. I think the more this Fafnir is able to spread himself around. And same thing with the Ganesh, the better their teams can do. Rotations really make or break that mid game. And especially the mid 3v3, I'm looking at Malware's Pele to be really massive here. It's a pick he goes to often, and a pick he always performs on, so that they can get some really early pressure here onto Backpack. But speaking of pressure, the duo lane is going to clear it before Cupid does. Not what I expected.
Yeah, I didn't expect that either. I really was looking for that pressure to come out from Ganesh and Cupid, and, you know, laning phase can be a small factor, it can be a giant factor, but for this one's going to be important. Over in the solo lane, though, Shiva getting ganked. Is he going to get away with 1 HP? I don't think so. He's got Tassan on him, but they're lagging behind a little bit, and the blink coming out from Horus. He misses the basic, gets him with the ability. Goodbye, Shiva. First blood goes the way of Backpack.
Yeah, really good kill. Maybe didn't need to use the blink there, but gets it anyway. Never a bad trade. Now, Indra's Scepter should go over to Backpack. That was a big change. I don't think that was talked about in game number 1, but a massive change to Scepter coming back from the Obelisk of Past. Now just a buff in duo lane. That can also have a really big part to play in that one. And Persephone gonna beads.
Yeah, big beads, a lot of pressure out here in mid, and once again we find Horus right in the middle of it, but did he go too far? Persephone dashes in, some good damage coming back, but it looks like they're going to go their separate ways and go back to bungling some juffs.
Yeah, and that's going to be a massive opening for both junglers here next time they rotate. That's beads down on both pairs of mid laners, but notably Pele is the only one with their blink still up. Obviously, Midman used it to get that early kill. Fighting again, Cupid dropping low here. Might need to back up a bit, but I don't think Freya has enough pressure. Yep, and those range attacks go away.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. You know, it always depends on which rework Freya is at one time or another, but you can never be too safe about it, but you can never have to be too afraid to attack it either.
Yeah, definitely a really tricky balance. I always respect people that can play Freya. I mean, you know I can't. I will never be able to play her. She's way too intricate for me, but that's why I'm not playing in this tournament. Ooh, and do they get the purple? No, Fafnir steals
it. Fafnir got it back. And a big purple invade here for Fafnir. That attack speed, it's going to be up there. They better watch out. Nothing like some hammers bonking you down. Over in solo lane, it looks like Sasano's losing some health quick. Is he going to get... Okay, he's going to get out of there.
Yeah, and he elected not to go with tower teleport. So going to have to walk back to lane. Looks a little reluctant to leave here. Bensworthy can back at any time. He still has a... Or I guess he did just TP in, so maybe he has to wait another minute or so.
Yeah, but, you know, it's always hard. That feels like the longest trek ever whenever that happens.
It is very true, and it gets longer the further you are down. I think that's an actual fact.
Yeah, I think so too. I think actually the more you're behind, the more notifications you get in your screen that you don't have teleport. They just like to remind you, just in case.
Exactly, and now Bensworthy is the first one to take over to level 5. little bit surprising. He holds the only death this game, but keeping up in farm, I guess, is the Shiva. Still has that lead over the Susanna,
Yeah,
who
and
still is not back.
yeah, and Horus taking a peek over, just seeing what's going on in duo lane, but he's going to think better of it and go ahead and back. And yeah, like you said, being able to farm when you're getting ganked and bullied is imperative. You can't really overstate the importance of that. Some decent damage out in duo lane, nothing to go crazy over yet. So I'm really looking for Shiva to continue that trend, not let that first blood get too in his head and just grind it out, like you said.
Yeah, and I think he's definitely itemizing correctly. Warrior's Axe, I think, is an incredibly underrated starter item. We normally see Bluestone out of the solo, but a really good sustain item and gives you a little bit of power as well. Now, do you think that's going into a Gladiator shield? It did recently see a small nerf, but I don't think that's going to dissuade the Shiva.
Yeah, it's tough for me. Hyra has made sure to point out specifically in those patch notes that they're trying to calm down some of the damage output from warriors, but you know, you, you can't really take away my Glad Shield from me. I guess that's all I'm going to say here. And Ganesh misses the dash, bit of a noise in the duo lane. Nothing too exciting yet. You know, I think Ganesh might be my favorite character to watch miss a dash.
Yeah, definitely. Gotta love the Elephant Man charging. And now 4 people on the left. Yuhong and Pele look like they're gonna back. Here's where I was talking about those early game rotations. Ganesh is gonna help Cupid get the scepter. But now, the Fafnir has moved into mid lane really early, so they're gonna get the mid camps there.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that goes to what we saw in that first game, letting Sully get that farm out and get ahead, because Sully's rotations were so imperative to that game 1 victory that letting him get that solo farm is really important. So I would have kicked that Fafnir out early too.
Yeah, definitely. And do like to see him spreading around maybe the attack speed stim, not as valuable with the rest of his team, but I don't think they're really going to be missing that. And one thing I did want to talk about is the mid build. We recently saw a patch where all the flat pit items got buffed, like Divine Ruin, Spirit Deso, they're up there, but they're still going the Warlock Staff start. Do you like that, or do you want to see them itemizing towards more of the flat pen early on?
I'm gonna go with I like it. Oh, and everybody just showed up in the solo lane. Shiva's got nowhere to go, and he's got every ult on him. Goodbye, Shiva. What a visitation. Nobody's favorite coming over to try to return the favor, but is there going to be anything there? Fafnir is going to go into dragon form, but nobody's too excited about his last phase. And
Yeah,
everyone's going to go their separate ways. That was crazy.
talk about overkill. 3 ults extended. Granted, needed at least 2 of them there. I don't know if Susano had to ult, but another massive kill for Backpack. They're now up 2-0, and Yu Huang forced up into the skies to get away.
Yeah, and we talked about it, but that pressure on the solo lane. We didn't talk about it in picks and bans, but it looks like as this game's starting to unfold in front of us, that solo lane pressure is really something both these teams are putting an emphasis on.
Yeah, a little bit surprising because last game we did see Bensworthy get off to a little bit of a slow start, but despite dying twice, he is a level ahead on the Oler one trick, who is not playing Oler, but instead Susano, and building in to the Manticore Spikes, I believe it's called, and this is another really common thing we see out of solo. That got a bit of a damage nerf recently, so maybe Susano won't be hitting as hard as he's used to in a few minutes here.
Yeah, and a bit of dancing around mid lane jungle here. Nothing crazy. And Ganesh ult is going to get popped, followed by a Freya ult.
Ooh.
An interesting exchange there in the duo jungle.
Yeah, Freya probably didn't need to pop the ult, but to be fair, it is better safe than sorry.
Absolutely,
Definitely
you never
don't want to get behind on that Cupid.
Depending on ward coverage, you don't know who's around. You don't know what's following up on that.
That is true. Neither team has wards on that left side. The closest one would be Backpack just outside the gold pit. Massive Cupid ult.
Is he going to dash in on it? Nope. He thinks better of it with the Fafnir on his way, and Freya, once again, going to sneak away.
Yeah.
Freya's a little sneaky today.
Yeah, Freya didn't have to use beads either, so still going to be looking pretty good for that next engagement.
Yeah, very
Also,
impressive to
Sully
see.
should have their ultimate back before Crisp does. So maybe now this is where we see the Freya take a little bit of a lead in the lane.
Yeah, it's surprising to me. I keep saying it, how this is playing out. Everything that I expected to see just isn't coming true so far, but I guess that speaks to the talent of these teams and the way they were able to adapt depending on their opponents.
Yeah, and speaking of adaptation, both of these teams' builds are looking astonishingly different. It's just more meaningless brawling in solo lane. I think they're both going to get away from that one. Oh, Susano, wow, taking a lot of damage. Doesn't have the
And
Glad Shield.
underneath the tier 1 tower, goodbye, you. Didn't even get to know you. That was crazy. And over in the solo lane, Uller one trick gets one shot and he's gone and back to base. Fights across the map.
Yeah, and that's where we see the advantage going on to that Shiva with the Glad Shield and Warrior's Axe has a lot more survivability than Susano, who still doesn't have that Soul Eater fully stacked. I think it increased from 75 to 100, was it?
Yes,
Or
to
am I wrong
100.
with that? Okay. Okay, I thought so. I thought so. I never know, though. I can be bad at builds.
Yeah, don't worry. We believe you.
Oh, perfect. Always love to see that. Back to what I was talking about earlier, the build difference. It's a little bit crazy. We have, I think, building into Chronos Pundit maybe there is the Fafnir with a Mail of Renewal, and on the other side, the Gauntlet of Thebes from Ganesh. And I really like that on Ganesh. I think he stays with his team a lot more. And those
Yeah.
extra 10 protections is a lot more valuable than the Fafnir, who sometimes can take himself out of the fights with that ultimate.
Yeah, and it definitely looks like this Fafnir might be hinting towards going a little bit of damage, looking for some Fafnir pop.
Yeah, I do see Chronos Pendant a lot on supports. I'd expect that's what this is going to, but also can't really count out maybe Spear of the Deso, which would give him a lot more cooldown when he gets kills and assists, or Spear of the Magus, I think is an insanely underrated item on supports. They can hit everybody pretty easily and pretty safely, so getting their team that increased damage, it's never something to scoff at.
Yeah,
But I
Spear of
guess
the
time
Magus
will
has been an item that I think has gone undervalued for consistently in almost every season of Smite.
definitely has. So there's just so many good products in that category. You kind of tend to pass it up, especially compared to the items it has to compete with just in its own tree. I mean, Divine Ruin and Spirit Esso, pretty much mainstays in every meta, and Scorpion goes over to the backpack.
Yeah, and Fafnir did jump onto Cupid, and here comes the Fields of Law. Persephone is going to get away. In the back, Horus with a nice dash. Yu Hong's going to get away from it. Are we all going to go our separate ways? It looks like everybody's going to tiptoe away. Not quite willing to commit to a deep and dirty team fight over in the jungle.
Yeah, and great use of beads by that Persephone. Kept herself out of harm's way. Certainly would have been dead on that. Now Freya's rotated over. Cupid's still on purple. So Backpack might be able to do something here if they want. Just going to be avoiding it. And I got to ask you, when do you think we're going to start seeing objectives being pulled? I believe it was a 19-minute Fire Giant last time from Nobody's Favorite. Do you think the pace is looking like that, or is it going to be a little bit more of a slow burn?
I think it's going to depend on how that first team fight ends up, because we've seen some skirmishes here and there, and we've definitely seen some deep diving, but we have not seen a big destructive team fight yet. And I think once we get our first one, depending on how it goes, if we see 3, maybe even 4 people die from it on one side, we'll probably start to see some objectives getting pushed.
Yeah, and I think I gotta give the team fight over to Nobody's Favorite once they get truly all on level and all group. I think Dharmic Pillars and the Fields of Love are going to be extremely destructive. We're on the backpack. Besides that, Horus, a lot of those ultimates are focused on burning down single targets.
Yeah, and it's really going to depend on positioning, ultimately.
It will. And I think whichever team can just stay more composed, it's really easy to kind of branch out and get antsy as the game goes on. So the better composure might win out. And looking at builds, it is not Chronos Pendant, but a Spear of Deso, and both mids will go to Divine Ruin. So a lot of anti-heal on the board already.
Yeah, and we sniffed out that damage on Fafnir, and you sniffed out that Spear of Deso, and now my brain's really starting to spin on where else he's going with this. Are we gonna see a lot of damage coming out in this Fafnir and him take a strong bruiser approach to this, or is this just a one standing item and he's looking for maybe the passive of it?
I definitely expect maybe a one standing item because of that Susano solo and the build he's chosen to go. Obviously not as tanky when we look at Nobody's Favorite. The Shiva and the Ganesh are both going to be extremely hard to kill, so I think gonna have to stick traditional here to have a chance. Massive.
And it
dash
looks
by
like Pele got caught out. Fafnir's running her down in the back, but she might get away. And now Fafnir and Persephone find themselves caught out. Persephone almost going to follow up, and Ganesh is stuck. Pele blinks in on the back. Persephone's trying to get away, but Pele's going to find themselves in mid-men's claws.
That was an incredible catch onto the dashing Pele, keeping Persephone alive. Maybe not for much longer, though, as another re-engage comes.
And Freya's trying to hide behind the wings of Fafnir, but it will not be enough. He's going to fall to Bensworth. Ganesh is going to get followed up by Susano. big Yuhong damage, and he's gone too. That's a double kill for Uller One Trick. And it looks like they're going to break away and head towards that Gold Fury. And just like we said, that first team fight might lead to an objective.
Yeah, and forget everything I said about nobody's favorite having the advantage. That was played almost perfectly by Backpack. I don't know, it
Absolutely.
was really easy to miss, but that Persephone was dead to rights with Pele dashing, and I think all 3 members turned on the Pele, caught her mid-dash, and just deleted her. A really tough break there for Malware Cookies, but an incredible win if you're a Backpack fan. Now up 7-2 and 3,000 gold.
Yeah, didn't quite have the health for that Gold Fury, but that fight was worth enough in its own.
Yeah, are gonna have to stop this Trebuchet pushing in though, so maybe couldn't have afforded Gold Fury anyway.
Yeah.
Trebuchet, I really like this addition. I think it adds a lot, especially in the early game. They're really hard to kill if you don't have your ADC there. When your ADC doesn't have physical damage, maybe even harder, as he's gonna have to get some help from mid-man to shut it down.
Yeah, we definitely saw that Horus taking quite a bit of time with the Trebuchet, and they're really, you can't forget about him, but it's so easy to look at things like that and just see him as arbitrary. It's like it feels in your head as if, why should I care about this? But then you forget about it, next thing you know, your tier 1 tower is down at half health, and you're getting flamed by your duo lane.
Yeah, definitely an interesting balance, and they are really easy to overlook. Half the time, I don't even notice they're on the map. So props to them not going for that Gold Fury, instead just defending that tier 1. And nobody's favorite does get their Scorpion. It was stolen by Backpack last time, so maybe those improved buffs will help. Oh, Susano's going to need a health buff.
Sasano's caught out. Here comes the ultimate. It's going to help out, not by much. Pele's running them down, but they're going to have to separate back because here's the cavalry. Fafnir dashes. Persephone catches the Pele. Goodbye. Horus is out. That was incredible. What a turnaround, but Sasano got left behind, and Bensworth's going to pick him up. Did they just forget about him? They walked away, and Sasano was left in the back.
Yeah, I think Backpack getting way too eager there, maybe wanted to turn it towards Pyro. Kind of forgot that Uller One Trick still does not have any defense online.
And meanwhile, in the dual lane, Cupid's going to get away with a sliver of health after a beautiful shell by Ganesh protecting him from the Freya ultimate.
Yeah, good job getting over there by Easygoing. You hate to see it if you're Solely, but luckily you got even more pressure. And the fight's still going on in right. Midman takes down Lunar.
Somebody back and buy some items.
Yeah, you would think, but maybe not today. But now I don't think they have enough players to go for that Pyromancer, so those objectives still going to be stuck on the table. If I'm Malware Cookies, I gotta be really mad. That was looking like a really easy, really good kill onto the Susano, and then 3 members just come out of nowhere. Rough break for the Pele.
Yeah, the communication from Backpack has been impressive.
It has been. And all these Horus ults, I see a lot of the time, maybe not find as much value as they normally want them to, but they have been incredible so far this game, ganking onto right lane. I think that's all they've been used on, right? I think maybe once in that left jungle. But yeah, the game's on solo.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah, it's really been impressive to watch, and we see it so far every time from Midman. Give him the Horus, and the cavalry is going to show up, and it looks like we're going to sniff out the Gold Fury here at 16 minutes. Cupid's on his way. Ganesh isn't far behind.
Ooh, yeah, Ward
down to about a quarter health. Heart bomb's on it. It kind of looks like they're stepping. Banish from Freya gets the 2. Backpack's going to secure the Gold Fury. If it wasn't for that Banish, I don't think Backpack would have gotten that Gold Fury.
Definitely not. Now Horus is coming to join the fight. Dharmic Pillar's out.
And it looks like we're going to lose Uller One Trick over in the solo lane to Bensworth. We're busy in dual lane on this fight. And there's just action across the map again. Fafnir is going to jump in and get the stun on you. Horus down to half health. He's going to have to back up a little bit and reconsider things. And once again, we see no commitment to these big fights and just a little bit of tippy-toeing around each other.
Yeah, and a little bit disappointing if you are a Backpack fan. I mean, you get the Gold Fury, so props on that. Wow,
hold Fafnir. That thought. Fafnir might have gotten caught out, and the heart bomb explodes midair. Goodbye, Swift. I'm sorry, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, almost gets out of that one alive, and that is going to be a 2-for-0 fight, split out across the map. But to their credit, they do get the Gold Fury. I think Freya messed up a little bit, walked over a ward there without any counter vision on that left side of the map. Still don't have any even after that fight.
Horus trying to sniff out the Pyro, but he's going to focus on you. Is he going to get away, though? He has no backup right now. Freya's coming around the side. Scratch that. But now Freya's left alone as they were making their escape.
Oh, wow. Good ult from Freya.
Freya up into the ultimate and not going to find any kills with it, but yeah, I'm not sure I like the positioning. I like the flank by Freya, but Freya got caught out there. That could have gone very bad, very quick.
Yeah, and I think real easy to miss in that fight. Easy going, hitting absolutely insane silence. After Horus moved in, you saw him trying to hit all his abilities, but he was silenced out, couldn't, and could not hit that Yu Huang with his autos. And a miracle, nobody died at that fight. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Freya and Horus were both gonna die.
Yeah, that was that was a really crazy escape we saw. And we're not talking about it too much, but some of these builds,
They're interesting,
yeah,
for sure. I mean, honestly, I think I do kind of like all the builds. I like that we're seeing them stray a little bit from the beaten path. The
yeah,
Staff
me
of
too.
Mirrodin I absolutely love on mid laners. It's one of my favorite items. And the Manticore spikes, so maybe you were right, Fafnir. Heading towards maybe more of a damage route. I guess Manticore spikes don't exactly have damage, but not as high protection as I would normally expect out of a support.
And you're right, but looking at that 1, 1, and 7 line so far, as Ganesh drops an ult underneath the tier 1 to not much avail, Fafnir hasn't needed that protection so far, so perhaps going damage is a good call here.
Yeah, maybe meta is overrated sometime, and wow, what
And
a
over in the
1v1.
duo lane, just when Sully thought he had the solo, Pele blinks through the wall, and Cupid gets to live to see another day.
Yeah, great timing there by Mauer on that blink, and you hate to see it for Soli. It was going to be an absolutely really good kill too, and now a massive fight in mid.
And it looks like Pele once again coming in the back, and goodbye Sasano. As we see Shiva fall on the half, Horus dashes in. Everybody's low health. Here comes the damage from Fafnir with the double kill. We talk about it, and the caster's curses might be real.
Exactly, it could be. And now
Cupid's caught out in between now.
Oh, I think Cupid's gonna die. Yep.
And
wow.
Backpack is running it down. They're gonna knock out you, and with that, we have a Deicide going the way of Backpack. What an impressive fight.
Yeah, great fight. Unfortunately for them, though, the Fire Giant is the only objective up on the map. So maybe just have to settle for a tier 1 in mid off of a great fight. Great not only for Backpack, but Mauer. Been having a really tough time on some of those solo ganks. I had 2 really, really good kills in that fight. First onto Soli and then coming around the back. So good to see the Pele making up a little bit of levels as this Horus is 5-0-9. Only a level ahead, though.
Yeah, I think watching the Pele have really good initiations and being able to find a pick, but not being able to find any success from that is becoming a theme of this game so far.
Yeah, and I think one thing you got to look at is the player damage charts. There's a pretty big difference, of 4,000 damage difference between the junglers, but then again, a 9,000 difference between the solo laners. As soon as Bensworthy starts rotating more often, I think that mid fight was the first one we've seen him in. That earlier team fight, he was stuck back in solo. I think it might have a much bigger impact than the Susano at first, simply because of their builds and levels.
Yeah, and we were talking about it from the beginning about the Sasano, and we weren't entirely on board because from the beginning we were surprised by it, and even with those early kills, like we said, it didn't really make that much of a difference. But so far, it hasn't hurt Backpack overall. But as we're getting into the late game grind here, I'm starting to be concerned about those player damage numbers from Sasano.
Yeah, and this is odd to see. You would think Backpack would be the ones initiating, but no. Ooh, massive ult's coming out. Yu Huang should die.
Ults coming everywhere, and just like that, Yu Huang's dead to Sully. Ganesh getting away with a little under half health, and not as much carnage coming from that fight as I might have expected.
But here come the solo laners. Susano
Chase isn't done. Sasano's
damage.
coming in. Fafnir jumps behind him. Pele's knocked up. Pele's half. Pele's running. Can she get away? She's going to fall underneath the safety of her tier 2 with her team, and it looks like Backpack's going to break away and maybe think Primal.
Yep, if I'm Backpack, I'm going straight to the Fury. They have no ultimates to contest. With that, Shiva going back to the right side. Just as we were saying, we needed to see the impact from the solo laners. They rotate over, and the fight dies, so don't get to see it yet. Credit to Oler one trick, though. I think the stat line's a bit deceiving. I don't think he's been playing bad at all.
No, not at all.
Right
And that
side.
fight, he was a game changer.
Exactly. I think Shiva's just maybe having a little bit better game, but not to take anything away. And now going into
Not at all.
what I would expect a Magi's cloak here, last item. It's not gonna. This is essentially gonna be a second jungler, I think, for Backpack, and it'll be really interesting to me late game how that turns out, because we have one support who's not too tanky, with a solo and a jungle who are high damage. And on the other side, a much more traditional comp. If I'm
Yeah,
back here, I really want to leverage this damage into an early game win. I think the further this goes, the better nobody's favorite is going to do.
yeah, we could definitely see Cupid and Pele start to blow some people up with the lack of tankiness on the side of Backpack.
Speaking about tankiness, Susano in a small little trade with Shiva, though, doing a lot better than we saw early game where Shiva would out damage in a lot of those small exchanges. So maybe a glimpse of hope here into the 1v1. Now there's still about a 6,000 gold lead here for Backpack, but I don't think we've really seen it translated into the item tree yet. Still
No,
pretty
we haven't. And same with the experience. We just haven't. It's not. This game is not as far out of hand as it feels.
Definitely not. Big Horus ult, though.
Over in the mid lane, we've got a silence coming from Ganesh, and there's the Persephone ult. Yuhong instantly drops to half health. Ganesh goes on to Persephone and knocks her up. Horus in the back on the U, and he's going to kill him. Ganesh runs into Horus, didn't know where to go. Dynamic Pillars drop, it's not going to matter. Cupid falls behind the tier 2. He's running for the Phoenix for his life. Freya's chasing him down. Tasano's chasing him down. And this Asano's going to get the kill. Fafnir onto the Pele. Pele's gone. It's a triple kill for Madman. Somebody ban the Horus.
Exactly. Midman is the madman. Absolutely incredible game from the jungler, adding 3 more to his belt. It was really unfortunate right off the bat from nobody's favorite. They didn't see the ultimate coming, and their jungler was still at base. So unfortunate if you're a fan of the Chaos side, but this is going to be a 25-minute Fire Giant for Backpack. Now, the only thing I'm looking at, they expended all their ultimates in that fight, and we don't like seeing Fire Giants go down if they can't capitalize. So if you're Backpack here, what lane are you going on to get some of these towers off of the map?
I think I'm going to do a lane. I think that's my play. Traditionally, we see people go the way of solo lane, but in this game so far, I think they've had a good bit of pressure over in that duo lane jungle.
Yeah, I think I'd agree, solely for the fact that Gold Fury is going to be up a full 2
Exactly.
minutes before Fire Giant. I know a lot of teams like to prioritize that right side, so teams are further pushed back. On FG, I think it doesn't matter. This next Gold Fury, it's still a normal one, but that does give the Draugrs boon now. In the, I think it was a 9.9 update, if you get a normal Gold Fury after 20 minutes, your towers gain the defensive buff that the Draugr had. I think it's 7% damage mitigation up to 3 members, so 21%. And you really don't want nobody's favorite to have that one. It's going to make sieging a lot harder if you're this order side team.
And just as you can call it Caster's Curse, but just as we're talking about how this game was not getting out of hand for nobody's favorite and they were still in it, that last fight really shifted the scales quite a bit. What do you want to see from nobody's favorite going forward to maybe try to turn around this XP difference, this gold difference, and just the overall feel of this game?
If I'm nobody's favorite, I'm definitely looking to group up more. On all these Horus ults we've seen, it's never been on to more than 3 members. That last fight, Bensworthy and Malware Cookies were both in solo lane and the Fountain, I think, respectively, and turn that 3v3 into a really easy win. Like we said, those two pseudo junglers, they pump out a massive amount of damage. And this Horus especially, he has been diving the Yu Huang like crazy. If I'm nobody's favorite, keeping Lunar alive is the key to winning this one, and it's going to be a right side push, not duo lane.
Yeah, and while they're pushing solo, I've seen every single fight so far. The Horus makes a beeline right for that back and basically eliminates the Yuhong and the Cupid from mattering in the team fights, and it's consistent every single time.
Yeah, and I think you can chalk a little bit of that up being the not fully grouped, because this Ganesh is having to work as the sole engage here. They haven't really grouped up as 5 until now, underneath this tier 2 and mid. I'd like to see Ganesh play a little bit safer and really see Shiva sink his teeth into this backline.
Yep, and as you say that, it looks like Freya's going to do some decent damage on that tower, as really nobody's favorite can just can't find the right place to stand. And it's going to fall down to half. It looks like we're about to get into the big fight of this game, and this fight could make a huge difference for the future of this game going forward. Nobody's favorite has a lot to prove in this fight, and they're not out of it yet, but this fight's going to matter a lot for it. Fafnir gets caught out a little bit, not too much damage going forward, but Ganesh is getting slapped by the Freya. Fafnir's going to jump in. Dynamic Pillars drop to try to slow the fight. Persephone is a bit caught out. Tries to egg. His tower's going to fall. Pele's going to go to the back. Everybody's half in the mid. And here comes Chris with the double. Don't forget about me. Freya and Susano on the back pedal now. Freya turns around to Pele, finds her way to half. Pele's going to pick up the kill on Soli.
Yeah, and I was just about to flame the Pele for standing there behind a wall while the teamfight happened, but incredible discipline and engagement from our Cookies just decimates a Persephone and comes in from behind that ultimate, doing a lot of work. Can't get away from the cone attack when they're all grouped up together. That is exactly what we needed to see out of nobody's favorite. How far do you
Yeah.
think this pick goes? Had to use all of their ultimates. How much can they push us into an offensive? Gosh, I can't find the right word there, so I'm gonna stop.
If
talking.
I'm nobody's favorite right now, I'm seeing if I can push this Phoenix and put a lot of pressure on it while Uller one trick defends as the rest of his team comes up. And if I can't get that Phoenix, I'm falling back and I'm clearing the jungle. I'm trying to go in on Sasano, and he's gonna get blown up. And just
Yeah,
like that, Phoenix is gonna fall the way of nobody's favorite. And 5 minutes ago, if you had told me that, I would have asked you to wake me up from my dream. But nobody's favorite's here to play.
Definitely not over yet.
Here comes the
wow,
horse ult,
what an
and the
engage.
whole team's arrived! Ganesh, where'd you go? Persephone ult down! Horus chasing Cupid and Yuhong are running for their lives! Shiva backing in the mid lane! Can Cupid get away from Horus? Can anybody escape it? He's not going to. Chris falls to mid-man, and right as nobody's favorite had turned it around, Backpack spawns and says, get out of my base!
Yeah, you know, I think Caster's curse is real. I was just thinking, wow, okay, that Phoenix was gutsy, but they got out of there. Nope. Madman 5 taking his whole team in there and killing probably two of the most important members of support in the ADC down. Now with Fire Giant coming up in about 30 seconds. This
Yeah, they had all the pressure. They had a free Fury. They had a free Fire Giant. It's all gone now.
Yep, and I don't know. I think the quicker they get over to that Fire Giant, the better. They're going to look for this tier 2 on left. And they're going to get it, but ward coverage should go over to nobody's favorite on that FG. Oh, maybe they won't get it, backing off a bit? No, they're going to go.
Yeah. Nah, they're dancing. It's a dance. It's okay. Dancing can be confusing sometimes.
It can be. I suck at dancing. It's why I never went to Homecoming, but now we should see both teams migrate over to this Fire Giant. And yeah, I think this one might really determine it 30 minutes in. It is enhanced, and it's going to be massive as we're going to have all ultimates up. Not all relics up, though. The beads missing from both backliners on nobody's favorite. If I'm Backpack, I am getting in there in a hurry before those come back up.
Absolutely. And if nobody's favorite can turn this game around and come behind and win, I'll tell you what, I'll be your homecoming date. But something that really mattered to me in that last fight is we did not... I talked about I wanted to see nobody's favorite clear the jungle. They didn't do that. And that XP difference, that gold difference, while it's starting not to matter here at the end of the game, being able to... I understand Phoenixes are important, but if you fall back and you get that gold for your team, we're a bit more on an even playing field now. So I really would have liked to see that as we prepare for our Fire Giant fight.
Yeah, I think the one benefit you can talk to getting the Phoenix is looking in mid lane. Those minions are really pushing up. The longer nobody's favorite keeps Backpack at this FG, the worse it's going to get in mid. You see Horus there clearing it out, and he does have his ultimate to rotate quickly. But, ooh, Cupid now just respawning. If I'm nobody's favorite, as soon as that Cupid gets back up, I'm going to initiate this fight.
Yeah, and I think I like the chances here for... You know, it's I don't want to say for both sides, but I'm not too sure how this is going to go. It's all going to come down to the positioning and the damage of these junglers and the follow through from these carries, just as we've seen in the last couple fights. First pokes going the way of Backpack.
Oh, Horus in the skies. They want to go on to Pele. Can they get her?
And it might have been a bit of a whiff, and Dynamic Pillars is going to say, get away from my Pele.
And that's going to be
Persephone ult drops down, but nobody's home. Fafnir are going to go on the Shiva. Shiva's already down to half. Tank who? Cupid's a little bit low in the back. He's trying to hide. Sasano's going to appear out of nowhere. And Crisp is going to be sent home packing. Big damage coming out on Ganesh. Yu Wong trying to get away, but Freya might have gotten caught out by the Pele. Freya's going to ult and return that damage on Pele. Pele's gone. And just like that, nobody's favorite goes from looking like the favorite in the fight to going 2 for none.
Yeah, and that was a really good fight by Backpack, and credit to Uller one trick. I've kind of been talking about all game how I'm concerned he's not tanky enough. Walked in, walked out, over half health, and got a kill. So really good initiation by him. As Madness went back,
Shiva's going to show up and erase the Freya as Fire Giant was only down to half. I don't know if nobody saw him coming or if he had great positioning. Shiva's getting beat up in the solo lane, but putting on a heck of a fight so far. Somebody kill him. He's got a quarter bit of health left.
Yeah,
Sasano's gonna whiff and Fafnir's gonna pick him up. I was getting concerned there.
Great job by Bensworthy. As the mid Phoenix is gonna fall, and they're not even gonna get Fire Giant. Shiva may have just absolutely saved the game for nobody's favorite.
That was impressive.
4 members to 1 are surprisingly still in this game at 35 minutes.
You know, I gotta say, watching Bensworthy get away from there. For a second, I thought we were going to see an old school Benji and Amaterasu running around the entire map. I didn't quite get that, so I'm still going to be hoping. But that, like you said, that saved the game, and there's not much debating that for me.
It did, and now this is off an Emperor's Armor being picked up by the Ganesh, so maybe anticipating having some Phoenix fights really soon, and I wouldn't fault him for thinking that. Backpack, despite admittedly making a little bit of a misstep there, still on the front. But they have a 3v4 over here. I don't think they realize it yet. Nobody's favorite could engage this one.
Yeah,
Persephone joins, though. Flat 4-4 now.
Yeah, it's flat 4-4, and Freya is lurking by the speed of. Freya's going to go ahead and back now, but it's tough because, this late in the game, any fight could be your last, and fighting over this fire giant, you can't take away the important.
Yeah, it's not a fight you want to take. I think it's much more of a fight you have to take. Oh, I was surprised they didn't go in there on the Ganesh.
Yeah, Sasano got away by the skin of his teeth, it looks like.
Yeah, he did use up Horus's bubble, though. No longer going to have that CC immunity. You're going to have to rely on the beads, which just came off cooldown. Now, despite still being in the lead, it's Backpack. Look like a little bit of the back foot here still. Nobody's favorite or being the ones to initiate this. And if I'm an Order side fan, that might be a little bit concerning. You'd want to see them being the ones stepping up here.
Yeah, I never have been a fan of these fights where a fight's coming, but you're dancing around it, because if you're not the one to initiate, you're going to be initiated on. As we see the Shiva trying to step forward towards the Fafnir, Pele's going to dash in on the Freya, but that might have been a mistake. Chris going to fall, but he's going to clean up the Freya. I'm wrong in that, and Pele's going to get away with barely any health left. And Pele got to live for that. That's incredible.
Miraculous that only one person died in that fight for Backpack. And I gotta say, a great job by nobody's favorite, recognizing that Horus went into mid lane to clear minions. Because last play from Bensworthy, that Phoenix is still down. Massive initiation, though. Cupid
Here we go. Sasana ult in the air, and the Cupid, but the good Aegis might have saved his way. Fafnir's trying to get through. Horus breaks through on Crisp, and goodbye, Crisp. Persephone, Fafnir, and Sasana are low and trying to back up. Horus is just trying to get away. Shiva and Ganesh on his tail. He's going to get the nice dash to get away. And just like that, Backpack is on their way home. And did Fafnir just get caught out? He's going to get the dash away. Horus in the back finds Yu Hong. Shiva's going to get pulled under tower. And Pele's going to dash in, looking for the Fafnir. Turns on the Persephone. And that's going to be it for Gabba.
Yep, and we just saw nobody's favorite do exactly what Backpack did last time. They neglect about their backline. It gets taken off on the other side of the map. Now, despite winning that team fight and looking in a great place to start pushing, they don't have the manpower to do it, as both their mid laner and their ADC are going to be dead for another 30 seconds.
Have you ever watched the game and just almost felt like nobody's winning?
I definitely... well, nobody's favorite in this one. I don't think they're winning yet. Backpack is not winning yet. Both of them have had unbelievable chances so far to get ahead in this game, but props to both of them. They are coming up with the kills exactly when they need them on defense and exactly when they don't on offense. It's really a battle of the trenches here. Now, nobody's favorite again stepping up on Fire Giant. Cupid not rejoining them yet, though. I think, again, they're going to have the upper hand in this fight.
And, once again, we're fighting over the Fire Giant. The Fire Giant hasn't fallen in a good, feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so I really am looking for somebody to take that initiative.
Yeah, and despite all players being up, all ults being up, I'm guessing this engagement isn't going to happen for at least another minute. There are, I think, 3
Pyromancer pulled and gotten by nobody's favorite.
And that is going to bite a little bit into that 12,000 gold deficit, but admittedly not much. I think just trying to clear it out there so it isn't distracting for the fight.
Absolutely. Ganesh might have gotten called out. He's going to try to dash away. Fafnir's going to go up into dragon form. Freya's down to a quarter health quickly. Freya's going to ult to try to get away, but Shiva's on the case. And once again, we're going to see a backpedal and a split from the teams.
Yeah, and that was an incredible engagement there by nobody's favorite. We talked about it on the mid T2 earlier. That's exactly what we want to see. Ganesh peeling, Shiva engaging. And they did it really well there, forcing Backpack off.
Horus ultimate. He's in the sky. Where's he going? He goes in the back, but it's too late for Fafnir as he falls. But Pele, down to a sliver, gets away again, but it won't be so fortunate for Crisp. He's going to fall. Freya chasing down Shiva. Sasano trying to survive. Horus dashes in, chasing down the Ganesh and the Yu Hong. Yu Hong's dead. Horus turns to Ganesh. Triple kill for Midman. Is he going to find the Quadra? Shiva's around the corner. No, Shiva's going to back just in time.
And we said it on the desk. We said it off air. The not banning Midman's Horus may be the fatal mistake of this game. as they drop the fire. Ooh, I don't know about that one. Oh, I guess Shiva did teleport in. Pele though could go
Horus gets
massive
lit
juice
up
on
by
the wings.
Pele. This could be huge for nobody's favorite if they can follow up on this, but they might not be able to.
Persephone might not get out of this one. Does though. Okay, good call on backpack by backing off. I was really questioning it before I saw that Shiva blinking in. But good
Do you
call
think
by
anybody's
them.
gonna get this fire giant in the next 5 minutes? Because I don't think so.
I think we might go into triple digits up there on the timer before we see that. But to be fair, I mean, we haven't seen any fights off of the fire giant so far. I think both teams are trying.
Absolutely.
We're just seeing a little bit of inopportune fights for both teams. And Midman single-handedly keeping Backpack in this one, I think. Not that any other members are playing bad, but he is playing so outstandingly well that
Yeah,
it's
a
just almost
15-1
unfair.
and 14 Horus is something to behold.
I think the most shocking thing is I think it's going down pretty early in these fights, hasn't been able to peel the Horus off. We saw in the mid game was doing really good with the silences and the dashes on keeping Midman off his backline. But these last 4 or 5 fights in the last 10 minutes, he has killed both of the backliners. And he's going to do it again this fight if nobody's favorite doesn't adapt to the Horus.
Yeah, and we see him kill those backlines, and then we see both teams kind of go their separate ways. It's each time it's been very impressive, and it almost at the beginning of this game, it kind of felt like almost too slow paced, and we were kind of confused as to the lack of objective fighting and the lack of grouping. And now I almost feel like we haven't seen these teams stop holding hands, and I love it. I can't get enough of this. I feel like I'm watching an arena match.
Yeah, you can definitely see why this is a semifinal team. Both these teams working extremely hard to get here. Now separating again, Horus on the right side. If I'm nobody's favorite, I almost want to bait out his ultimate here, engage and pull
Yeah.
off before Horus goes through, because the only way he's been getting to the backline has been the ultimate.
Yeah,
And when that's
consistently
been
every
down, I
fight.
think, right, when it's been down, I think nobody's favorite have done a very good job at kind of corralling him. He's using to the skies like really, really well. Oh, might be in trouble here if they go to clear out minions again. Luckily, though, Phoenix is looking tanky this time, so nothing to distract Backpack.
We talked about it in the beginning, and we were talking about Sully going with the Freya pick as opposed to going with the Ho Yi we saw in game 1 or the Medusa that was hovered. And hold that thought as Shiva's going to get banished and Freya's going to potentially commit. Nothing too crazy yet. But what I was going to say, I kind of think they're missing a bit of that potential damage that would come from Medusa or Ho Yi.
Yeah, at least I think on objectives, that's very true. They haven't been able to go for the Fire Giant a couple times. Maybe coming of that, I will say the
Mhm.
one thing Freya is doing much better than Medusa can. She is staying alive really, really well
Very
in
true.
these team fights. The 2 and 5 might lie about that a little, but Malware Cookies consistently has been ulting into this Freya. She's just been going up into the air, and the
Mhm.
Pele has been getting bursted down in return.
And
That's a
like you said in the
really
picks and
good
ban
trade.
phase too, the Freya being able to ult away from the pillars from Ganesh has been a lifesaver for this Freya more times than they can count. It wouldn't be 2-5-11. It could be 2-5 or 2-15 with the amount of pillars I've seen Freya escape.
That's true. Admittedly, I think the pillars are being used really defensively out of Ganesh. And
Yeah.
I like that for the peel, but they're coming out before the Horus ults onto the backline. So backline being able to, like, a little bit defenseless. Almost want to see them try to corral the Persephone in those Dharmic pillars. 7 free reign. Speaking of Persephone, big ult onto Shiva.
Big ult from Persephone. She was going to get caught at dynamic pillars in the back. Yu Hong's going to pick up the kill onto Freya. And just like that, Freya's gone to Sano, might be gone to Pele. Pele's doing some damage, trying to get away from the Horus and the Fafnir as the chase begins. Horus is going to pick up Pele. Persephone's going to get dropped by Crisp.
And that might be the fight of the game there.
Yeah, Fafnir's a bit caught out. I don't know if Fafnir's going to get away. Crisp is going to pick up Fafnir. I'm not sure if that was Odysseus off the camp or just a good shot. And now the Phoenix siege begins.
Yeah, and I don't think Midman has too much of a chance to defend this one. He is going to try, and he'll try his best. Does buy a 500 pot. Can he do it? If he takes out the Cupid, I think there's a chance. Oh, I don't think
Yeah,
he's
time for the 1v5.
out
Can he
the ult,
defend
though.
the Titan as nobody's favor begins, but could be the final siege?
And it
Yu
will.
Hong's going to shut down the thought, and just like that, nobody's favorite is going to beat the caster's curse and come back and win this game.
Incredible fight by nobody's favorite, really keeping themselves in there.
Wow.
I think all game we kind of said Backpack was ahead and they were looking great. And they were up until the last 30 seconds. Great
Yep.
discipline there from nobody's favorite, didn't let it affect them, and they were able to get out of that one with the W.
We were waiting for something to give in those fights by the fire giant, and something finally gave, and it was the back of backbacks.
Indeed, it was. And now this is only one of the finals team. I think that would have been good enough for a finals match.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. The fact they have more to go is amazing, and just like that, the
if you're
semifinal round
nobody,
is done here.
yeah, and if you're nobody's favorite going in to the next one, you are going to be taking on Sad Face with Power, Yaito, Taka, Thunderbolt, and Tank Tops. If you are nobody's favorite here, do you kind of want to keep strategy the same way, or are you going to switch it up after the other team might have seen this absolute whale of a win?
I think it's a really tough call, but you know, there were a few things I'd like them to take a look at. I mean, there was a lot of damage from Yu Huang, but a lot of that damage did come at the end. I felt like the Cupid, while Fields of Love was very impactful, I kind of wanted a bit more of a dynamic pick from Crisp, like we saw with the Artemis, and I feel like we were kind of missing that same that same presence.
Yeah, definitely. Still can always be things to work on, but I don't think taking anything away from Backpack. They played a great tournament and a great
Absolutely.
semifinal game again. But is there anything else we need to say before we hop into the break here before the finals?
I don't think so. Once again, a big congratulations and good job to Team Backpack, but an even bigger congratulations to nobody's favorite as they move on. Thank you guys for hanging out, and we'll be back soon with more of the Bring Your Own Team tournament.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing. All here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guessed. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You were not as tough though. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me. Don't wanna test your luck with me. I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots, who are not as tough as me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain, I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in my
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice way.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting back into the finals match between Sad Face and Nobody's Favorite. I'm Kingfisher, joined once again by Anthony. Anthony, you ready to get into these finals?
I am so ready for these finals. That last match, after getting to watch 45 minutes of team fights, I'm excited.
Definitely. And the 45 minutes of team fight, they were entertaining. There were solid fights there. And focusing on Nobody's Favorite, they did really good despite dealing with that Horus a little bit roughly. The jungler did a great job getting up. I think solo lane, Bensworthy did incredible all game. So if I'm Nobody's Favorite, that's who I'm looking towards to kind of lead them into a win here in the final.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there was a big theme that I wanted to see more of, and I wanted to see more commitment from that game. I wanted to see more commitment to fights and more, I don't want to say running it down, but I wanted to see more running it down.
Yeah, it definitely did. Also, if you would share screen real quick, production. But I think we are getting into picks and bans here. The first couple bans are already out, and there is going to be a Cupid ban from Sad Face onto Nobody's Favorite. We saw that last time from Crisp, so maybe enough to warrant a ban there. The Fields of Love's coming up in clutch.
Yeah, absolutely. In the beginning, the Cupid was not too impactful, but as we got to the end, that Cupid almost was the difference maker in those team fights.
Yeah, it almost was putting up a lot of damage. And on the other side, they go with the same three bans, being Cabrakan, Neja, and Lancelot. So I think we can confirm no sort of target bans. And what do you think,
just a theme.
do you like those, or do you think there were some better ones they could have taken out?
You know, it's tough in terms of casting so far tonight. We haven't seen anything of Sad Face so far, so for me, it's really tough to, you know, to figure out if there's a target ban coming or what. But I do like that there was a plan from Nobody's Favorite.
Yeah, I do too. And now we are going to see Susano out of the jungle. They just went up against one. And a little bit, I don't know, kind of odd. I think Mauer's biggest problem was he was having a little bit of a rough time getting into those fights. I think the Dodgy, like he pulled out in round 2, would have been really good there. Up under the Palo, can pull people extremely easily. But Khepri and Achilles, and that is a scary front line to go into here.
Yeah, that Khepri and Achilles pick I like a lot. I like the combination. I like taking... this is something that goes back to, you know, some more old school mindsets of Smite, and it's a little more classic, but I like taking the Achilles away from the opposing team when I'm going Khepri.
Yeah, definitely do. Nice to get one of those executes off the board, and already locked in Susano, so Thanatos. Not much threat of coming out. All you got to worry about now is an Ao Kuang solo lane, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I certainly don't expect to see that, but hey, stranger things have happened, like Chiron coming through alongside a Jing 10.
I do like the Chiron, especially with Cupid being banned out. I think Chiron's a really good hunter, and the Jing Tian, I'm a little bit... I don't know if that's going to go to support or solo. Which one do you think you'd rather see the Jing Tian in?
And maybe this is my personal bias. I've always been a bit of a stickler for keeping Tian out of my dual lane, but you know, that's personal experience. It doesn't matter too much here. Nobody wants to hear about me cry, you know, about my ranked games, but I kind of want to see him go solo.
I would think the exact same way for the simple fact of the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel is a great ultimate, but if I'm support, I'm always scared to kind of leave my backline to get that really big ult. I think solo gives him a lot more freedom. And speaking of freedom, the Morrigan is going to be locked in from Sad Face, the most versatile god in the game. How do you think that's going to go into the enemy's team comp? Do you like this pick or not?
I always love a good Morrigan pick, and you know, back when Morrigan first came out, people would pick Morrigan just to get to, you know, use other teams' ults or whatever, and it kind of became a bit of a joke. But you know, in reality, in with this particular team comp, I love it. I see a lot of traditional ways of it going, where you can use the Daji ult that we just saw get picked. You can use the Jingten ult. You can use the Chiron ult to survive. You can use the Khepri ult. There's so many options in this particular game that at the end, I think it's going to come in clutch. Not to mention, turn into a Sasano, throw a tornado in there.
Yeah, and now there is going to be the Dodgy as the jungler for Sad Face. Talked about maybe seeing it instead of the Susano. Now we're going to see it alongside the Susano. And Mulan is going to confirm that the Jingtian is going to support. Also to note, this final is only going to be a best of one. So a little bit odd that we're seeing nobody's favorite shift up their team so much from what it was last game when they objectively did really good in the late game and pulled out that win.
Yeah, you know, it's a bring your own team. So I don't want to say that there wasn't a strategy coming in, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Especially in Smite, if you know something works, that in tournaments like this, comfort picks and team composition and chemistry matter so much. I love that Rama pick coming in. That was a really good way of rounding out that team for Sad Face.
Yeah, really well-balanced looking team here for Sad Face, and probably a lot more of an early game powerful team for nobody's favorite. But there's only so much we can deliberate on, so we will throw it into a break and be right back with your Conquest Tournament Finals.
I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head, constantly thoughts jumbled around, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative. I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase the bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I gotta taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. I'll give up everything. If I can see my dreams, cause I'll do anything to make what a reality. Don't let go. I'll make things right, cause I'll do anything to make what a reality.
I just wanna find a way out, sick of the venom in my brain. Running from the past, wanna escape my pain. I just wanna be a better person, I deserve this. I just wanna break these chains. Always asking for greatness, true to myself, I never fake it. Seen too many once, I just so they get famous. And when I say the truth, most really can't take it. In spite of everything I've been through, I'ma make it. Fake friends, but on my downfall is toxic. Day one, started to outlaws for profit. Now all I do is write verses, no talking. All I do is put the work in, no option. This was everything I ever wanted. Created a legacy off of me, just being honest. And the fake ones hate, but it's all to no avail. They wanna see me lose, but you know I never fail.
Alrighty, and welcome back after that short break. We are getting into the finals here between nobody's favorite and Sad Face. Once again, Kingfisher with Anthony. As you look in here, looking at the builds, it's a lot closer together than what it was last game. We saw a whole bevy of different starts.
Yeah, last game was a bit of chaos. This game so far has a lot of structure and a little bit of a nice to meet you is going on in mid lane. Got a little excited, but yeah, going in last game, I was hard and nobody's favorite, and I really don't want to Caster's Curse, but I love the draft from Sad Face here. I can't get over it.
I do too, and I think a lot of it might hinge around this Morrigan, and I think you can always say that about a Morrigan. It's not really a safe pick. It's very execution heavy. But with this comp and with a Rama and a Daji, you don't have a ton of really big burst damage, and the Morrigan lacks a lot of those big hard-hitting abilities like a traditional mage. So it's going to be really dependent on how those transformations go and how Sadface plays around it.
Yeah, it's going to be the transformations, and they're going to need tank tops to really show up on this ROM.
That too, Rama, I think one of the most consistent hunters in the game. I think objectively one of the most fun hunters in the game. It's really classic. As long as he hits his auto attacks, he is, I think, the scariest one to go into because they hit really hard and they hit really fast. A lot of attack speed, and with those sacred arrows, does a lot more damage than you would think. Now Mulan's going to get rotated on early.
Yeah, it looks like Daji and Sasano have run into each other in the jungle as the solo laners were boxing it out, but they both thought better. Sasano did leave though, so Dashi's going to get some pressure on the totem as Mulan gets backed off of the wave in solo.
Yeah, and we saw in our semifinals matchup, Malware did go gank solo early again. Ooh, good stun by Morgan, gonna secure her safety.
Fighting close to her tower and utilizing that stun to get some good separation between herself and the opposing jungler.
Yeah, and the early totem Aku does fall to
And
Sadface.
with the blink from Daji onto Morgan Le Fay, and that's going to be a first blood going the way of Sadface. Beautiful blink by Daji.
Susanna didn't get to mid fast enough, it seems. Very good kill by the Daji, taking the first kill a minute and a half in. Now looking at this duo lane, not the lane I would expect to have pressure. Chiron does really good early, but Ram out clearing him. Ooh, good roll in, but misses the cripple.
Yeah, and you know, from experience, I feel like Khepri is one of those sleeper lane picks. When you see a Khepri, you kind of think like almost more of a passive lane, but a lot of time Khepri can get some really good pressure in. And we did see in the beginning that they were Khepri and Rama were pushed up a bit on their tower, but they quickly turned that around.
Yeah, and I think target prioritization on Khepri
Double
has
root, nice.
Ooh, a good knockup from Jing Tian, but he's gonna go low. Sorry, back to what I was saying though. I think target prioritization on Khepri is huge. If you can coordinate with your ADC, especially one with piercing auto attacks like Rama, we see a lot of ADCs and supports try to hide in lane to kind of avoid a lot of damage. If you get Khepri plucked, which goes her minions, you're going to take a lot of damage from tank top. But speaking of a lot of damage, here comes Susano.
As in the solo lane, the blue buff gets invaded. In the duo lane, their lives get invaded. Susano shows up. Double root stops the rotation from nobody's favorite. What a root there from Perks.
Yeah, really good play by the Khepri to keep them alive. Doesn't have to use shell and no beads from the Rama. Feeling good about that if you're on sad phase and feeling a little bit bad if you're nobody's favorite. I thought that Susano was going to path a little bit higher, but maybe they did have ward coverage, so maybe just kind of cut the losses and jump to the chase.
Yeah, for
Should
sure.
give them a little bit more pressure on these minions, but doesn't look like much, admittedly.
And so far, 3 minutes in, we have a great showing here from the Khepri going the way of Sadface. And you know, at the beginning of that fight, I did mention it, but I do want to point out Mulan did get their blue buff invaded, and it did go the way of Sadface. So a lot of pressure coming out in that solo lane.
Yeah, and I think also kind of interesting, last game we saw the opposite with Bensworthy going towards a Glad Shield and his opponent taking Soul Eater. It's going to be a Soul Eater up first for Bensworthy this time.
And Morgan's going to get a sun turn into Daji. Will the ult hit? The ult's going to hit, and that's going to be a solo kill on Morgan Le Fay from the Morgan. Thank you, Daji. Have your ult back.
Yep, won't have to worry much about execution there. Great play by Power to really get that solo kill. Feels bad from Lunar. Not much they could have done there. Their beads were down. Didn't have many chances escaping that Morgan.
The options were limited. I was kind of nervous to see that first hit. Daji ult did not hit. I thought we were going to have a choke, but it ended up going the way of Power, and nicely done. And now Daji showing up and hanging out in the duo lane.
Yep. Despite what they think in mid lane, still does have
dashing on Chiron, but Chiron got away. Dashi gonna go up into the ult. It's gonna hit on Jington, but the beats comes through, and he's safe to live another day. But Sasano's hanging out on the purple buff, but everyone's gonna go their separate ways.
And I'm glad you said that. I didn't see Jing Tian had beats. I thought he ulted and canceled immediately, so that really confused me. Not level 5 yet, doesn't have that option. Should be taking over soon, and I think that's one of the great things about Jing Tian into this comp. A lot of CC immunity against this Daji, against this Khepri. Should have pretty high survivability to compare to a lot of others on his team. Oh, great rollout by Rama.
That was fantastic. Hope Rama's getting some praise in his comms. That was a great rollout, like you said. But yeah, I like the beads on Jington, because right there, you get picked by that Daji, you're dead, as Daji gets picked by the Sasano. And the Khepri ult's going to come through and go. Daji is now going under the safety of the tier 1 tower. Wonderful ult from Khepri. What a performance so far from Perks.
Doing very good, and I would really like that for Mauer if he didn't use his ultimate, but ultimate and beads just for a Khepri ult, maybe not very worth it, but does get them off mid lane for the time being, so a little more farm Lunar's going to be able to take. Feeling better here as Morgan going to be backing and Daji having to reset her own jungle. So Sadface off to maybe an early lead, about 1,000 gold, 1,500 up. But nobody's favorite aren't looking in too terrible of a spot here.
No,
They're
not at all.
definitely being pushed back.
And as we saw last game, nobody's favorite has comeback energy in their bones.
They definitely do, and they may need to use it again here, but not out of the woods quite yet. Bensworthy, we commented on it last game how he was staying ahead in levels so much. He's been pretty much on the back foot by his tower this whole time, losing buffs. Still the same level as this Achilles, who I think is going to have a massive impact late, but wow, look at that damage. Maybe missing the Glad Shield right now.
Yeah, and Khepri is rearing his head over in the solo lane, and Daji and Morgan are working their way over too. Mulan better get out of here. Sasano's trying to get over. It might be too late. And when the execute hit, the execute is going to hit from Taka, and that's going to be a dead Bensworthy in the solo lane. Sasano caught in the back by Daji, trying to get under his tier 2 tower. Daji is going to come out. It's going to snag him. The tornado's not going to be enough to save him, and Malware Cookies is going to die under his tier 2 tower, as in the duo lane, Chiron gets away with a sliver, trying to avoid the 3-0.
Yeah, and if I'm nobody's favorite, I would have loved to answer back that Rama there. That was really unfortunate for Bensworthy. There was a huge lack of wards on that right side from nobody's favorite. Just a couple standard ones at the Scorpion, so that Khepri able to sneak up on him and get a little bit of damage off before Achilles finished it with that strike. And Rama on the left side had to use beads, but still staying alive, and that's a first item dominance. Okay, clearly the ADCs know something I don't.
You know, I was just about to ask you if you saw anything interesting going on in the builds, and I think Rama might have been in my head.
I definitely do. I mean, I would expect that from Chiron, but Rama, I think, is definitely one of the people I think of you just want to go straight attack speed. If I'm Rama, I'm building like an Atalanta's bow first. I love Atalanta's bow, or maybe an Ichabod, but
yeah,
I just doesn't need it.
Some boxing over in the solo lane, as everybody loves to see. Achilles probably not looking to instigate too hard, as he's quite low on mana, just taking peeks in case all 16 members of the other team rotate over again.
Yeah, luckily they're rotating to the right, but they're rotating for the Scorpion, not his life, so should be able to back pretty safely. 40 seconds on the tower teleport, though. I'd imagine he's going to stay for another wave or so.
Khepri trying to show how he's the best duel player to Morgan Le Fay, but they're both going to go their separate ways.
Yeah, Khepri is not one of the gods that comes to mind when I think of the best duelers, but looking pretty
You'd be
good
surprised.
so far. I guess I would. I have never seen a full damage Khepri, or even a hybrid Khepri, so I really can't comment on that. To his credit, though, making it look pretty good, staying ahead of the enemy support with 2 assists out of the 4. Khepri hasn't been at all these team fights, and that's kind of out of the ordinary for early games. Ramado trying to kill Chiron.
Yeah, big trades coming up, but Sasano showing up, and Rama's going to dash away. He must have had
Ward
that
vision.
sense in the back of his head. Great ward coverage coming the way of Sadface.
Oh, and Morgan can find a massive pick here onto the Susano.
Sasano down the health. Jington shows up just in time to get him away. Here comes the old. He throws Morgan towards the Chiron, towards the tornado, but the Khepri ult's going to come through just in the nick of time to get Morgan away.
Okay, and it turns out Morgan did ult. Did you see who Morgan ulted into? I did not see a Morgan ult that fight.
I
But the
don't
ultimate
think I did. I might have missed it.
Yeah, 'cause she came in with the stun. And then
The
got
blink under
or-
the tower, and that's going to be a dead Bensworthy. Can we stop ganking Bensworthy? He's having a rough night.
Ben's probably sad he couldn't ult into Rama for some safety there. Back in mid lane now, Morgan half health, but still has all the pressure in the world. I think they're really scared to step up on this sad face 3v3.
Yeah, and so far that Khepri has been a game changer, which we talked about in the picks and bans. But I really, really am gonna hinge on the fact that I think this Rama could be the difference maker come late game. Nobody's favorite. Again, they've showed their comeback moments. They just gotta hold on to see if they can turn this around.
Yeah,
Only
and I think-
4K goal difference.
And I think a big one for me is going to be Susano. Like I said, I think Malware did pretty good last game, but maybe didn't have the consistency on the Pele that you normally like your jungler to have on the Susano. A much more straightforward god, and when he can do a ton of damage on if he picks his opportunities right. I think Malware Cookies can become really massive for this nobody's favorite squad. But on the other side of Daji, I think Susano straight up loses every 1v1 against a Daji.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can definitely see that if we take a peek at the damage charts, where Sasano is working his way up, so to speak.
Nowhere to go but up. That is correct. Now, a little bit of brawling. Now we're starting to see this Mulan fall behind. Maybe a product of a couple gangs and a lot of blue invades from this Achilles.
Yeah, and last time Bensworthy was able to keep himself in the game. As we see a Jingten ult to the mid lane, Morgan's going to get thrown back as Morgan Le Fay gets killed by the Daji, and now the chase ensues onto Jingten. That's what you get for showing up in Morgan's mid lane. Shington's going to beads, but it's not going to matter, and he's going to fall the way of the Morgan.
Yeah, and I really like the thought there from nobody's favorite. I'm glad to see they weren't dissuaded by the 5-0 scoreline, as Susano should fall in the back, but really good body blocking by Mulan.
Daji's going to come through, looking for the Mulan. The ult's going to hit. Drag her back. She's gone. That's a double kill going the way of Lycon 03.
Yeah, and that is a clean fight from Sadface. I was saying, though, I like the thought from nobody's favorite trying to get a kill onto that Morgan, who admittedly was being really greedy with no lifesteal, staying at half health, but did not see the Daji coming out of the jungle, and Lycon did a great job shutting down that Morgan Le Fay early. Wow, I'm going to get those two confused a lot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sadface did a really great job there at shifting their focus and being able to stay as a team and switch from that fight they had in mid to the back harpy fight over on the right side. Bit of boxing going on. Chiron's losing health pretty quickly. Rama's committing the dash forward, but Morgan Le Fay's here. Rama ults in the sky.
Oh.
Chiron's ulted. Just enough time to get the kill. He's going to dash away. Can he survive him? Morgan Le Fay. Kepri's showing up. Xingtin's here too. Morgan Le Fay's going to ult. Kepri ult just in the nick of time, but he got brought back to the Xingtin. He's chasing him down to a quarter health. Rama's trying to get away. The cripple. The whirlwind. He's still alive. Great timing from the beats. Kepri's going to get the pull. Rama will not be stopped in the duo lane.
Yeah, and that was, I think, ambitious to say the least by that Xingtian trying to answer back. Oh, good spot out on the Morgan Le Fay.
The blink through, and Morgan is not safe as the Kepri picks up the kill. You cannot beat the burn damage of Rising Dawn.
Yeah, and just a bit of recognition for that Chiron. Unfortunately, didn't think Rama was going to get ult. Got locked in Centaurus and could not escape the snipes. Maybe had a chance if he didn't, but that's just a bit of bad luck for the ADC as Rama picks up his second kill of the game that fight. Now it's a 2-level lead, and I know you said Rama could be the difference maker. If there's any more attention on duo, there might be, as Gold Fury is going to fall 13 minutes in.
Yeah, there's not really much they can do to contest with this, especially with Daji playing the defense off to the side. With a good ult, Sasano's going to answer back, but it's going to be to no avail. Xingtin caught in the Daji ult, and which that Gold Fury is going to go to way of Sadface at 13 minutes, and Xingtin's life will not be joining, but Mulan gets caught out in the mid lane trying to defend. They're falling back under the tier 1 tower, dancing around. Everyone's going to back off and think better of it, but big victory overall with the Gold Fury going the way of Sadface.
Definitely is. Now, this is where the game might hit a little bit of a stalemate, as the mid tier 1 does go down, but I don't think either team are going to be eager to get onto the Pyro. Wow, Rama really threading the needle here onto Chiron.
Yeah, Chiron's getting bullied under his tower. He's just going to walk himself back to base, but Rama might have stayed too soon. Chiron responds with the ultimate. Rama with his own. One more shot. He misses it. The tower hit. He lives it.
Wow.
He can't believe it. Neither can I.
14 HP in a dream. Wow, it's true what they say. You're never really dead till you're dead. That is incredible. Oh, good.
And the tower is going to get the last hit on Taka for Sasano.
Mauer Cookie's doing incredible work under that tower. I thought he was a dead man.
Me too. As I thought with the Rama and the Chiron, that was an incredible exchange between those two in the duo lane. Not to overshadow the kill, but
should have died.
Yeah, that was such an interesting trade of ults. If Tank Tops gets that last hit, Chiron dies. Chiron saves his. Maybe he gets the kill. There's a lot that just happened over there.
A lot you can unpack on this one. And going back to the builds, the Aussie for the Rama, maybe that's what's keeping him in the fight against this Chiron, who has no lifesteal besides obviously that passive.
Yeah, that came through huge.
Bring the lifesteal. Morgan Le Fay's going to need a lot here as to beats out Kepri.
Morgan Le Fay beads being down could be a big thing to keep an eye on for this future as we're fighting in the mid lane. Same. Sasano's going to hold his. Here comes the Xingtin, but it's just going to be Kepri, and he threw him away from the Sasano tornado. Probably for the best, but a bit of a lapse in communication there for nobody's favorite.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. And I gotta say, I like that this tournament is bring your own team. I think we're seeing a lot better chemistry out of the Joust one. The Joust one obviously entertaining for its own reasons. Not often.
And Mulan is getting absolutely jumped on in the solo lane, and Bensworthy once again just asking for some time to breathe over there.
He's gonna have a lot of time to breathe in the grave. back to the point of chemistry, this sad face team has a ton. Obviously allowed to bring in your own roster from outside the server, and seeing it here.
Rama trying to survive under his tower, falls
If
with
he
the
turns his
ultimate.
back.
One shot, two shot, third shot misses. And Chiron
Oh.
just showed up to clean up the mess. And
That
Rama
should
might finally fall down. The Kepri ultimate with the beautiful
Wow.
timing saves Rama from the auto lock of Chiron. Kepri once again showing up at the perfect time. And it was the Morgan.
Oh my gosh.
What a fantastic play by Power.
Somebody clip that one. That's going to be the play of the tournament. Incredible game knowledge by Power, getting over there and getting the transformation off. But
He
if
will
nobody's
get
favorite
cleaned
can
up
turn
by
this
Morgan
around,
Le Fay. Jington
Might all be
survives
for
with 1
nothing.
HP, but absolutely beautiful play by Morgan. That cannot be overstated. Rama might be caught out in the dual lane, just trying to get some basics, trying to proc that Aussie passive. And now the real Kepri pulls through! Rama will not be stopped! He picks up the kill on Crisp!
that is awesome. That is an incredible play by both of the Kepris. Oh, if Morgan Le Fay could turn around, good Aegis by Rama, though. Should live through this one.
And now everybody's here to pick up the Morgan Le Fay. Tank Tops has a double kill, and Rama just will not be killed.
I don't
An
think,
incredible
unfortunate,
series
even-
of events over in the duo lane, as now Jington might fall too.
Yeah,
He's gonna have the
unfortunate
beats to
doesn't
get
even
away.
stand
Rama's
to
gonna
cover that
dash
one.
in. Ult doesn't matter. And that's a rampage for Tank Tops.
But-
Sasano's here to join the
Oh.
party too. He's gonna leave with a tornado. He's gonna dash in. It doesn't matter. Another double kill for Tank Tops on the Rama.
Well, maybe casters aren't cursed. You did say Rama might be the difference maker in this team, doing everything in their power to keep him alive. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know about that Susano engage, but despite that, tier 2 already gone, I guess no real harm comes of it.
That might have been the craziest 2 minutes of Tank Tops' Rama career.
Yeah, and we thought the last game's fight were crazy. Talk about that one. So now Achilles chasing down Mulan. Mulan 4 deaths against a 1 kill and 7 assists, which is just like last game, doing really good, staying caught up in levels, even if she is pushed back to her own Phoenix.
Yeah,
Quite
it's
unfortunate.
pretty incredible to watch somebody play traditional solo lane boxing under their own Phoenix. Achilles going to get thrown back, though, and now everybody's here and looking for some vengeance. They're going to get it. Chris picks up the kills on Ataka.
Yeah, has to take 5 people to bring down the Achilles, but I don't think they mind. It's a little bit of an alley back into this game. And Sad Face, as good as they're doing on kills and pushing towers, admittedly, I think lacking a little bit when it comes to pushing structures. Had
I was
Oni
just
free up
going
last
to
time they
mention,
left.
I would have loved to see an objective push just now when they were fighting in the solo lane and they
Yeah.
went 5 in.
I think really smartly now heading to the Oni Fury, this is going to open up that mid tier 2 tower. Both of the side lanes already had a big advantage, but these Oni minions should make the push they need into that mid tier 2, and that's going to open the door massively for Fire Giant.
Now, while we have a second to talk about it, as it looks like Sadface is going to easily pick up this Oni Fury. Oh, it looks like over on the right side, it's a sneaky
Oh.
Pyromancer going the way of nobody's
Yeah.
favorite.
The other team is about to get a sneaky Phoenix, though, so it might not be worth it. Transformation
Definitely
from
not.
Phoenix
Time to
though.
retreat. Chiron needs your help. He's going to have to ult. And it's not going to matter. Chiron falls. Dashi up into the sky. Mulan, beautiful timing to get away using that CC immunity. Going to survive and get away from the Daji and company. And now the reinforcements have arrived to defend the Phoenix. Sasano ulting, trying to catch the Mulan. But, oh, that was the Morgan getting away.
Indeed it was. And speaking of Mulan, fought incredibly that time to keep them off of the Phoenix. I think Rama was away, so I don't think really could have gone for it anyways. Daji is going to live. Same might not be able to be said for Morgan Le
In a
Fay.
big fight, Morgan's stuck in the middle, and a double whirlwind isn't going to matter as Morgan's going to lose her life. Followed by Bensworthy over on the side. Now Jingtin's got nowhere to go as everybody's going to run it down, and Rama's here, level 20.
And it really confuses me in all these fights. I keep forgetting about the clone, and I'm just thinking to myself, why is Power just standing there? Is he invisible?
Yeah.
He's just waiting for somebody to pass him by, which is something we like to see the Susano do. Was lurking by that mid-tier 2, maybe hoping they would overstep, but Sadface have been on top of it this game, not going to change now. Only the Phoenixes remain as the Oni minions push in all waves. And Trebuchet in middle, that middle Phoenix is going down.
Yeah, full on base siege for the 3 kills to 21, nobody's favorites. And all they can look to do now is try to get Sadface out of their base so they can farm, but I don't know if they're going to be able to. As the fight goes under Phoenix, everybody's half health. It doesn't matter. Chiron's going to fall. Morgan Le Fay's going to fall to the Morgan, cosplaying as Rama. Sasano blinks through. He catches the Morgan. It doesn't matter. Khepri ults on her. Jingtin trying to make it through, get back to base and heal. Maybe buy their first relic. He's not going to do it. Rama's going to catch him. Last one down is Mulan. That's a deicide! Going the way of Sadface. And that might be the game unless everybody dies to Titan.
I think he died to Fountain, not Titan. Maybe just flexing the muscles a little bit. Oh yeah, Rama, gonna buy an item really quick. Well, you can't blame them for being confident. That is a convincing win by Sadface, as they are going to be the Bring Your Own Team Conquest Tournament winners.
Absolutely fantastic performance for Sadface. Enjoy those gems.
Yeah, hard not to. And that is a great finals match. Maybe not a big of a fight as we would like to see, but hard to acknowledge something that impressive. Insane game by Sadface.
Yeah, there were some unbelievable plays coming out of the Morgan, played by Power.
I think that Khepri transformation is going to live in my mind forever.
Yeah, the Khepri transformation, followed by Rama surviving, followed by the actual Khepri showing up. There, and then Sasano deciding to be the hero at, you know, an interesting moment. There was so much to unpack there. Fantastic game. You know, I gotta say, nobody's favorite gave it their all. Nothing to scoff at, but Sadface just showed up.
Yeah, and I just gotta think we didn't cast a curse at this time. The Rama did end up with the most damage.
Yep, that's true. We did. Caster's curse broken. Anybody?
Yeah, we might have done it earlier today, but not in the finals where it counted, and that's all that matters.
Absolutely. Well, a big thank you to everybody for tuning into the Smite Draft League 5v5 Bring Your Own Team tournament. Make sure you follow it and keep your eyes out as our season's about to begin and you do not want to miss it. A thank you to all the competitors, a thank you to production, a thank you to the casters, and a thank you for watching.